What an outstanding woman she was, what a great person she was, and I think the fact that she's getting some recognition through all of this too is a wonderful thing. But trust me, when you grow up a Dodger, you know all about what went on 60 years ago.
And I think it's so great that his memory and his sacrifice and all that he has done for our sport and society has continued to be taught, and that the young players who come into the major leagues are learning slowly but surely more and more about Jackie Robinson and his contributions. I was still somewhat frustrated and disappointed that so many players thought that somehow the game was diluting the meaning of Jackie Robinson Day, with more players feeling compelled to wear number 42 or wanting to wear number 42. That just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and the Mets said that they were only going to limit it to one person, and that's going to be Willie Randolph tonight. And they knew that there were a lot of players and coaches who also wanted to wear it, but they were going to limit it to a guy who was certainly familiar and very supportive of the Jackie Robinson Foundation, and that's Willie Randolph tonight.
Well, great man, great legacy, great tradition, and his spirit lives on in Major League Baseball. As you know, 42 retired forever for all Major League teams. Only a handful of players are still wearing it, that number. And we certainly salute Jackie Robinson, his widow Rachel, the Robinson family, and the Jackie Robinson Foundation as well.
Well, the Mets have taken the field, so we'll set their defense for you. Their battery tonight, young Mike Pelfrey on the mound and the veteran Paul LaDuca behind the plate. David Wright has a long hitting streak working. Jose Reyes doing a great job leading off. Valentin and Delgado on the right side of the infield. A terrific offensive outfield in Sean Green in right, Carlos Beltran in center, and Moises Salou's gotten off to a great start with the Mets playing in left field. Starting pitcher tonight for them is a guy we've heard about for a couple of years, kind of like Rich Hill last night for the Cubs, in that we've heard a lot about Mike Pelfrey. Big, tall right-hander, 6'7", 215 out of Wichita, Kansas and Wichita State. Battled a few arm problems that were worrisome to the Mets during spring training, but it turned out to be just a little tendonitis. He's ready to go. He's made one start this year. Came against Washington, got no decision, gave up 2 runs in 5 2/3 innings. But this guy throws hard. He's in the mid-90s. He used to throw a curveball, but he's abandoned that. Swapped it for a slider that he learned during fall practice during the Winter League. And he also mixes in a changeup on occasion, but he's mostly a power guy, and the Mets like him a lot. And if he's as billed, he's a great addition to their rotation.
And this Braves lineup's got to be happy that he doesn't throw a breaking ball after what Rich Hill did to him last night in Atlanta. So the duel is on. First place on the line tonight. If the Braves can win, they'll be 3-1 against the Mets and move a half game ahead of them in the Eastern Division standings. A great rivalry resumes here at Shea Stadium in New York. So Kelly Johnson ready to go. He's been the hottest of the Braves offensive players of late. And Pelfrey's first is a blazing fastball in for a called strike. Kelly's added over 100 points to his batting average in the last 3 or 4 games. He's got 8 hits in his last 12 at-bats. And he never seems to take a bad swing. That's one thing you have to love about him in the leadoff spot.
Great balance, stays back, lets his hands work.
And sees a lot of pitches. Kelly has walked 11 times. He's scored 11 runs. And he's hitting a respectable .269 with a couple of homers as well for the Braves this year.
On pace to score over 100 runs.
David Wright will run out of room as that ball lands in the seats to the left side.
Scouting report on Pelfrey is that he's got to make you put it in play. If he's not around the plate and walking guys, he's going to get in trouble because he's got to elevate his pitches. The key to his hard fastball is the fact that it's got so much movement on it. It is a very hard sinker.
So Rick Peterson with Maine and Pelfrey, the 2 youngsters in this New York rotation, along with Oliver Perez. Then you add in Tom Glavine. Then you add in El Duque. Then you get Pedro Martinez back somewhere around the All-Star break or before or after. Look out. And with this offense, let's figure to be in pretty good shape. Johnson, a line drive single, starts the game.
Boy, is it ever a great, fun stretch to be in when you're hot like he is. That's 9 hits in his last 4 games.
Shortstop, number 11,
and he's hitting into all fields on a line. Just doesn't get much better than this. Looks like another pitch up and away that he went with. Absolutely. He lets the ball travel to him, get in on him a little bit, fights it off some. Hard to wipe the smile off his face right now.
So Edgar Renteria stands in, hitting .298 on the season. Let's see if the Braves do a little running in this ball game. Again, they're trying to jumpstart their offense any way they can. And the man behind the plate, Paul LaDuca, has a real sore right index finger. Might be tough for LaDuca to try to throw.
Yeah, he didn't play last night. Has a bone bruise.
Good lead at first by Kelly. And Renteria backs away from ball one. Braves ran a lot this spring. They have not run much in regular season play. In fact, if there is a concern about the Braves, it's that their offense has been somewhat one-dimensional. They hit a lot of home runs, and that accounts for the great bulk of their run production. And that's fine when you're hitting them, but as we saw last night, when you're not, you got some problems.
And it was fun. What was the only win in Washington in that brief two-game series was the night that they, I think, went 4 for 10 or 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, and early on scored a bunch of runs without the benefit of a home run. They did a great job on that particular occasion, and they're capable. It just sometimes I think they've been kind of spinning on that back leg trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark, and particularly Andrew Jones, who's got to get back to hitting the ball to right center a little more.
Andrew is in the hole as Renteria up 2 balls, no strikes. Good lead for Johnson. And ball 3 from Mike Pelfrey.
So far, some patient at bats. Braves have never faced him before. Tracking his pitches and trying to make him get it up a little.
Automatic in there for 3 balls and a strike to Renteria. Oddly enough, you made the point about Renteria, the huge split in his work against lefties and righties on that mound.
It's kind of hard to figure. He's hitting .343 versus right-handers.
Little tapper slowly hit toward right. He's going to have only one play, and he makes it. Runner to second with 1 man out. That's only have committed 6 errors all year, and Wright and Reyes have been terrific.
Skipper's got a better than 100-point difference between lefties and righties for Edgar. He does a better job against right-handers because I think he stays in on the ball a little bit better.
Well, it sure is nice to have Chipper back in the lineup getting booed here in New York. Remember, last April he was hurt after that opening road series in Los Angeles and San Francisco. He couldn't play. Braves took 2 of 3 without him. He's swinging the bat well as well and loves to pummel that pitching. Swung on, ripped deep right field, and the Braves have a 2-0 lead off the scoreboard.
I wonder how they feel now. I want to tell you that there's nothing that makes Chipper feel better than something like that in New York.
Now he's not going to smile yet, but when he turns and looks at his teammates, that's when the smile is going to come.
Take that.
There it is, first pitch.
And fighting a huge grin. My goodness, he jumped on this fastball right down the middle. He knew it, enjoyed it for just a second. And it hit just below the numbers on the scoreboard. That was quite a clout.
So 2-0 Atlanta. Chipper's 5th home run, and here's Andrew. He takes high. A lot of pitches from Pelfrey, facing the Braves for the first time here at Shea Stadium. And I imagine if you're Pelfrey, you're thinking, all right, they're taking a lot of my pitches. Let me see if I can get ahead with a good live fastball. Chipper's smart enough to think along with him. He guessed right and hit it a mile.
Yes, he did. Great at bat. And it came when the Jones boys, coming into that at bat, were just 4 for their last 29 with runners in scoring position. So maybe that home run by Chipper with the runner at second base will help get them both started.
There's another high fly ball. This one hit well to left, but Moises Alou on the warning track is going to catch that. 2 down. Andrew, hitless in his last 10 at bats, is retired, and that'll bring up Atlanta catcher Brian McCann.
Great start to the series, though. The Braves lost the first game. In fact, they got pummeled by the Mets in the first game in Atlanta. I think the final was 11-1. Came back to win a cold day on Saturday behind Smoltz as he bested Glavine and then rallied to beat the Mets in the third game of that series. So they're trying to ride a little momentum against the Mets by starting off so well tonight.
Ryan McCann moves his feet and takes a ball. 327 his average, a couple of homers, 10 knocked in.
Good changeup.
Pelfrey, the youngest Mets starter since Isringhausen and Wilson way back when. He being Paul Wilson, Isringhausen, and Bill Pulsipher was going to be the trio that was going to lead the Mets to all kinds of pitching glory. And unfortunately for all three of them, all of them got hurt. Never were able to live up to the gigantic promise their talent held for them.
Yeah, until Isringhausen became a closer, and that's when he found his niche.
And Paul Wilson had a good career, but was, because of those arm problems, not able to be a #1 top of the rotation power right-hand pitcher.
Pelfrey, 23 years old.
Out of Wichita State. McCann hits a shot to right center field that Beltran will play on a hop. Third Atlanta hit of the inning. Boy, how nice is it, Joe, to see the Braves bats doing some damage in the early innings instead of 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Well, and it gives Tim Hudson a little room to work with against this potent offense. McCann went out and got that pitch out away from him, but it was up a little bit. So a couple of mistakes this inning already by Pelfrey, not being able to get the ball down and not getting the sinking action that he usually enjoys.
Here's Jeff Francoeur. Jeff moves off the plate. Subtle change in Jeff's batting stance. He's opened up slightly, a little more of a crouch, and he said, I'm much more relaxed, loose, he said at the plate. See if it pays off here in the first inning. And from a hitter standpoint, Joe, what does opening up that batting stance do as far as how you pick up the baseball?
As long as the stride doesn't go even more open, it actually will help you center yourself over the plate a little bit, see the ball a little better. And he's got a very short stride still. You just can't, if you're going to have even a slightly open stance, you can't make it worse by striding open, or the old adage of stepping in the bucket.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2-0 Atlanta, first inning. And that's the pitch that I think is going to be the big difference maker for Jeff. Last year he swings to that pitch and the inning's over. Forces another offering here, and maybe will make Pelfrey make the mistake.
That and the willingness to go to the opposite field when he's behind in the count.
That one over the outside corner ends the inning. Very profitable first. Chipper Jones hits his 5th home run on the first pitch he sees from Mike Pelfrey. 2-0 Atlanta with Tim Hudson to the mound.
Hey, boss, do we have Aflac?
Yeah, we have something else.
But if you're hurt and miss work, does it pay cash like Aflac?
Chipper Jones and the Braves strike first. We go to the bottom of the first and see what Willie Randolph's lineup looks like tonight. It is a potent one. Reyes hitting over 350. Beltran over 350. David Wright's got a 26-game hitting streak. Moises Alou hitting over 360. These guys can rake. Pitcher tonight that's got to take care of that is Tim Hudson. Great start. 2-0, an ERA under 1. He's 2-1 lifetime, 3-1 lifetime here in this ballpark. 5-2 against the Mets overall. Coming off a good start against Florida when he beat them 8-4. 7 innings, gave up just 1 run.
And quite obviously, the man in the box is the key to their offense. You keep Reyes off the base paths, you make it a whole lot more difficult for New York. This guy is an MVP waiting to happen. 5th in the league in hitting, 6th in the league in RBIs, 7 hits in his last 14 at-bats, and a threat to turn a walk or a single into a triple with his speed on the base paths. He's remarkable.
Yeah, already 8 out of 10 in stolen bases.
Two balls and a strike.
Got a couple of those triples against Atlanta.
Braves into the corners, thinking he might try to bunt. And he swung at ball 3 and fouls it away. There's a break. 2-2 your count.
Hudson's issued a few walks. He's walked 9 in 21 innings. That's a little bit high for him. But he's also found the touch on that split finger pitch, and he's recorded 16 strikeouts as a result.
Let's see if Tim goes to the splitter. Fouled away.
I think it was.
That's another pitch that last year Tim just either didn't have confidence in it or couldn't put the pitch where he wanted it to be placed, and it hurt him. American League, that's what made him such a remarkable starting pitcher with Oakland. Breaking ball got Reyes swinging. Good start for Hudson. And there's your first out in the last of our first. Big night tonight here on our TBS Extra telecast. Top of the second inning, we'll take a listen to Chipper Jones on our Sonic Inside Tracks during batting practice. Eddie Perez in the third inning, our Sonic Great Braves moments. And we're really looking forward to the bottom of the third inning. Our old pal Julio Franco joins us for our Sonic All Access interview. One away for Paul LaDuca.
Anxious to talk to Julio. Julio's just anxious to talk anytime, so should work out well.
We'll tell him that he's going to get a cherry limeade for his participation.
That's all it would take. That and a Braves jacket.
No balls and a strike.
I should say a TBS jacket.
Well,
He doesn't need a Braves jacket anymore.
Well, he'll have to ask Jim McKean for that.
Yeah.
It's a special. Little off the plate, 2 balls and a strike.
LaDuca missed last night's game because of that sore finger, but he said, I just want to miss one game and get ready for the Braves series. I think it'll be fine for Friday night. We'll see.
LaDuca couldn't stop his swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and this is what makes sports so exciting. Here you have this Mets offense. And Tim Hudson rising to the challenge, and maybe LaDuca hurt himself.
I think he did, Chip. I think that check swing was what cost him. You can see the last 3 games, they've just been ridiculous. 19 extra base hits over the last 3 games. 2 of those were against Florida.
But Hudson facing an offense that scored 7 or more in 3 straight games. LaDuca, a one-handed swing. That hand is bothering him. Andrew Jones put that away quickly. 2 men are out.
And here's the rest of the Atlanta defense behind Tim Hudson tonight. You already know the battery is Tim and Brian McCann. And on the infield, around the horn from third to first, Chipper, Edgar, Kelly, the ever-improving Kelly Johnson at second, and Scott Thorman at first. Best defensive outfield in the National League, Brencoeur, Andrew, and Langerhans out there tonight.
Beltran quickly behind as Howard Johnson, the Mets first base coach, wisely let that one dance away. Sandy Alomar Sr., the third base coach for New York, as Hudson gets the first 2 Mets. And he's quickly ahead of Beltran, 0-2. There's Sandy.
Our view out beyond the ballpark's changed a little bit since we were here last.
Yeah, Citi Field is being built, and the condition in which it's in now is already better than Shea Stadium.
Oh, I'd just soon go over there and do the game right
Let's
now.
go ahead. Play in the parking lot, man.
Yeah, play around the girders.
2009 opening day. 2009 is when the Mets will move into their new playpen in the parking lot here.
All that work's been done since October, too. That's pretty impressive. Working through the winter here. It was a tough winter. City Park, that's what it's going to be called?
Citi Field, I think.
Citi Field.
Yeah. Quickly, 2 strikes on Beltran. And Hudson gets a fly ball to right. Ball carrying well. Brencoeur has plenty of room. Just what Tim wanted. An early lead and a quick 1, 2, 3 and out in his half of our first inning at Shea Stadium.
Me in my older age. I know I'm not the young punk I used to be. I'm always nervous my first swing in the cage here. Because if I swing and miss, everybody's going to give me guff.
He sure wasn't nervous on the first pitch in live action, was he?
No, he wasn't. But I'm sure if he turned and looked at Brian.
But you don't feel
Hair going every which way might scare the heck out of him.
I know Brian is excited that John Shamby's part of our broadcast group, but that's taking it a little far. Here's Scott Thorman. And the big Canadian takes a quick strike. It's 0-1. Scotty at 207, a couple of homers.
He's coming around.
Well, you can't get better if you
that are more putting the ball in play,
well,
more
and you
control.
You can't play. You can't get better if you don't play.
Right.
You know, it's all the lefties the Braves have seen. I'm sure he's welcoming the opportunity to see a few pitches, although he's down on 3 here leading off the second strikeout for Pelfrey tonight. Here's what Citi Field's going to look like opening day 2009.
Outer exterior has a little bit of a Ebbets Field look to it. Going to be a Jackie Robinson rotunda inside too. That's gorgeous.
High pop off the bat of Ryan Langerhans to the third base side. David Wright staggers a bit, but Langerhans quickly down, and his troubles continue. He's 2 for 28 at the plate to start the year.
And another pop-up too, but one of the things he told me before the game that he was working on was he was getting away from that toe tap that he had incorporated in spring training that was pretty successful this spring, but not so here in the regular season. And he was going to try to shorten everything up, stay back better in an effort to try to get on top of the baseball. Didn't happen in his first attempt tonight.
Tim Hudson 1 for 6. Very good rip. And down a strike. Lots of other baseball. Mark Fine will keep you updated with the highlights of the other action around the big leagues tonight. The Cubs were beaten by the Cardinals in their rivalry weekend at Wrigley Field today. That's the first final in afternoon play at Wrigley. And David Wright will make short work of Hudson, who on a chilly night does want to pull a hamstring. He leads by 2. Middle of the Mets order coming up in inning number 2.
Are you like me? I have high blood pressure and I have high cholesterol. Sometimes problems come in 2s, but sometimes help can come in 1. Catawit.
Catawit contains the leading branded blood pressure medicine Norvasc and Lipitor, the leading branded cholesterol medicine combined in 1 pill, Catawit.
Catawit is one of many treatment options I discussed with my doctor. Ask your doctor if Catawit's right for you. Along with diet and exercise, 1 pill doing 2 jobs for me. My doctor said Catawit's not for everyone. It's not for people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. To check for liver problems, you need simple blood tests. Tell your doctor about any heart problems and all other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. For blood pressure and cholesterol lowering benefits, it's Catawit. 1 pill, 2 medicines. Makes sense to you, makes sense to me. Ask your doctor if Catawit's right for you.
Baseball.
That was a no-doubt shot by A-Rod.
Major League Baseball is a proud sponsor of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Together, they create a positive place for kids.
Beautiful night at Shea Stadium in New York. It's Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic. Braves enjoying a 2-0 early lead.
And fans, it's time for the know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot. And if you have a question, send us an email, and Chosen will answer it later in the game. Send that email to tbsmailbag@atlantabraves.com. And please tell us your name and where you're from.
Well, here's the lone Met who really hasn't swung the bat well at all this year, and that's very surprising. Carlos Delgado. He's hitting just .220, has no homers, and has just 2 hits in his last 14 at-bats. He's going to hit. I would imagine as a pitcher, those numbers are a little more frightening as we move along here in April.
Well, there's several guys in the lineup that know Tim Hudson from the American League and had good numbers against him, including Delgado, so he probably welcomes this challenge tonight.
In the air, center field, Andrew on the run. Got an excellent jump. And Hudson takes advantage of the spacious center field pasture to retire Delgado. 4 up and 4 men down as David Wright, also without a homer, Joe, but also with a huge hitting streak working tonight.
It's a little scary to think about their offense if either one of those guys were hitting some long balls. Here's a hitting chart for David Wright so far on the year. His hitting streak dates back to last season. It is a Mets record. And you know both those guys are going to start collecting some long balls. You just hope it's Monday after the Braves leave town.
So David Wright with a .327 average. 4 out of 14 against the Braves back in Atlanta. Again, the Braves took 2 of 3 from the Mets after New York won the first one 11-1. They won 2 very close ball games, and I think set an early confidence tone for themselves in doing so against the team that dethroned the Braves last year.
And the Mets welcome the challenge. There were some comments made down in Florida about looking forward to this series. Not putting any more importance on it than what it is in April, but knowing that they've acknowledged that the Braves are going to be a team that they've got to deal with this season. And Atlanta did send that message.
Pop back toward us. And no play for Brian McCann. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But you look at their lineup in recent days, there's only 2 guys that really aren't hitting 500 lately. And that's LaDuca, who has the bad finger, and Delgado, who's been struggling all along. But wow, Reyes 7 for 14, Alou 9 for 18, Valentin 9 hits on the road trip. It's incredible what they've been doing.
Down on strikes is right. Boy, Tim Hudson's stuff is a cracklin' tonight. 5 hitters in a row retired, and we again join Mark Fine.
All right, thanks very much, Chip. Want to check in on Detroit and Chicago. Chad Durbin, opponents hitting .425 off him this season, and somebody told Juan Uribe, 4th home run of the season for him. And then Brandon Inge gets it back, just 6 hits this season for him. Now 3 of those are homers. They are tied at 1. Back to the Sunshine Shirts in New York.
Oh,
how about that?
A low blow, Mark. Moises Alou fouls the ball off his left foot.
Yeah, we're a little more canary yellow, we thought today. When we both got on the bus, we started laughing when we saw one another having the same shirts on. Color coordinated tonight.
So rivalry weekend as the White Sox and Tigers match up. Cardinals and Cubs, as you see. Braves and Mets tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday afternoons.
This weekend here is going to be fun because, as you pointed out or mentioned in the open, Chip, does good pitching, stop good hitting. Braves have their 3 best going. It'll be fun to watch how this all plays out.
And maybe the biggest mischaracterization of this Mets ball club is that they are only an offensive team. I mean, everybody wondered, how would New York do without Pedro Martinez and Tom Glavine creeping toward 300 wins and El Duque, et cetera, et cetera? All they're doing is leading the league in ERA as well as sporting a .303 team batting average. So this is a complete ball club in New York that the Braves are facing here tonight.
Well, that home run by Chipper was huge and for a lot of different reasons, but particularly because the Braves will face Oliver Perez tomorrow, and he gives them
Never
fits.
touch him.
Yeah,
Right.
he just handles them. He doesn't seem to handle anybody else. And then they got to deal with Glavine on Sunday, so it's good to jump on that kid early.
Tim got away with the pitch there, but Alou fouled it straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That guy's a good pitching coach. And he said earlier this year with guys like Perez and Maine and Pelfrey, it reminds him of his days in Oakland when he had Zito, Mulder, and Hudson.
He loves Tim Hudson.
And I'm sure although he's working for the Mets, he's happy to see that Tim Hudson is pitching like he did when Rick Peterson was his pitching coach with the Athletics. Full count to Moises Alou. And Hudson punches him out of the outside corner. 6 up, 6 down, 3 strikeouts, and a 2-0 Atlanta lead.
This hot fudge shake combined with the Oreos is the #3 top invention in all of history.
What are the first two?
Well, #1 is the doorbell, and #2 is still open. I mean, it's anybody's game.
It's not like the radio or the telephone like that.
Not that I know of. But this thing's cool. What's this?
It's a visor.
All right, #2.
Hot fudge shake made with Oreo cookies. New at Sonic. A favorite childhood cookie blended with hot fudge into a cool, creamy treat. Pay the Sonic way. Swipe your credit or My Sonic card from your car.
The time has come to truly save with the Lazy Boy Furniture Gallery's factory authorized clearance. Find huge savings throughout the store. Even one-of-a-kind and floor samples. Everything is priced to move during our factory authorized clearance. But hurry in, sale ends soon.
It can happen anytime, anywhere, to anyone.
Really?
You can save money on car insurance anytime.
I called at 3 a.m.
There's nothing to it.
New customers saved an average of $339 last year.
Got a house and car discount.
And we saved even more.
They saved me a lot of money. Good, because you owe me 20 bucks.
It's easy. Just call a State Farm agent's office 24/7.
Like a good neighbor?
State Farm is there.
In Portland, see your good neighbor, State Farm agents Michael Harper or Larry Rodman for your insurance needs.
It's early, but for the Braves, you couldn't have written a better script than the first 2 innings. An early Chipper Jones homer. Tim Hudson's retired 6 in a row to start tonight's ball game. Time now for Sonic Great Braves Moments. Earlier, we asked Eddie Perez what were his top individual moments as an Atlanta Brave. Was it his first major league hit against the Reds? That grand slam against the Cubs in 1998 in the NLDS? Or the MVP honors he earned against the Mets in 1999 in the National League Championship Series? Later on in our telecast, Eddie will tell us what his most memorable moment was, but if you'd like to log on to Braves.com/extra, we'd like to hear what you think Eddie Perez's greatest Braves moment was.
And everybody's a little different. I mean, remember Andrews, when we asked him, with all the heroics he's had, he picked his first game and his first hit.
So we'll enjoy that a bit later on tonight, as already the Braves go back to the top of their order and face Mike Pelfrey for the second time, with Kelly Johnson, who hit a laser to left to start the game. 9 hits in his last 13 at-bats for the Braves second baseman.
The Mets talk about how Pelfrey's a guy that doesn't seem to get rattled, doesn't seem to be bothered by the microscope that players have to suffer through here in New York. But you might also say that same thing about Kelly Johnson. Going back 2 years ago when he first came up and struggled, Bobby stayed with him. He came through it just fine, didn't panic. Same thing to start this year in a new position. Got his feet firmly on the ground. He's playing great defense, and now his bat's coming around. All because he stayed patient, stayed with what works for him.
Good rip at that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, I'm sorry, Chip, there are some similarities in his swing left-handed to Chipper's, in that there's not a lot of wasted movement, and there's such quick hands and great bat speed generated by waiting and how the bat flashes through the strike zone.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Well, you can do a whole lot worse than, I'm not saying copying, but certainly picking parts of Chipper Jones' batting style and stance. You want to hit in the major leagues. Rolled to first. Delgado, step or 2 behind the bag. And there's your first out in inning number 3. Don't forget, coming up in Sonic All Access, we'll talk to former Brave and current Met Julio Franco tonight at Shea Stadium. Edgar Renteria taps slowly out to third, back in our first inning tonight. There's maybe the best breaking ball Pelfrey's thrown in the game.
He came out of a big-time college program at Wichita State under the tutelage of Gene Stevenson. You wouldn't expect him to get real rattled.
Reyes at short. Has plenty of time. Perfect throw. And 2 men are out. Let's check in with John Smoltz wearing our Sonic Inside Tracks microphone tonight.
That's pretty much why they boo him. Oh, wait, Chip. Doesn't turn on till the game's on.
Well, let's see if they can make it 2 for Boo.
That is pretty much why they boo him.
And they started with a breaking ball, and wisely so. 1 ball, no strikes. Right well off the line at third. As Chipper in the first inning hit his 37th lifetime home run against the Mets. That ties him with Barry Bonds for the most home runs hit against New York among active players.
It was pretty much his efforts against the Mets back in '99 down the stretch that earned him the MVP. He was so clutch in those big games in a pennant race, and he just wore them out.
Ball 3 low, 3 balls and a strike. And I think you said it best. When they boo him, he feeds off that. He loves it.
Oh, yeah. You bet. I'm telling you, if you could have had a microphone on him running the bases, he'd have been saying something like, "Can't hear you."
And he walks on 5 pitches. First walk of the night from Pelfrey. And he pitched around Chipper to get to Andrew Jones. Let's see if Andrew can make him pay for that with 2 outs.
Andrew had a pretty good at bat his first AB, but he's got to get back to letting the ball travel more to him, meaning wait on the ball to get to him a little bit instead of trying to go out and get it. Think about hitting the ball more to right center.
And breaking ball after breaking ball after breaking ball is what he's been seeing. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all Rich Hill threw him last night. Curveballs to both sides of the plate.
Took that one for a strike. The other big matchup tonight, Yankees and Red Sox. They're underway at Fenway Park. Mark will update us on that at some point tonight. LaDuca held that one for a split second, didn't get the call. 2 balls and a strike.
Nothing but breaking balls. Still got a few days to go in April, but he's got a long way to go to catch up to those numbers from last year.
Well, don't forget, after Braves play here in New York, we go to Florida, then every hitter is dancing in the aisles of the airplane because our final stop on the trip is Denver, Coors Field. Well, let's hope he doesn't wait that long to get hot. Should see a good pitch here at 3-1. And that one hit him on the way by. Andrew plunked first and second with 2 out.
And I got LaDuca too, and I think it got him on the throwing hand. His glove is off, but he was shaking his right hand. Remember, he's got the bruised index finger. It's hidden back there. Ricochet. Oh, you know what? Maybe it came off the umpire and got him. Wouldn't that be something if it hit him from behind? See, watch LaDuca shake his hand here.
That's exactly what happened. Like one of those pachinko balls.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right.
So Walker to hit batsman. And if you get a close look at LaDuca's right hand, he's got that finger heavily taped. I don't know how well he can throw the baseball if the Braves find themselves in a running situation.
I think you need to find out. And not here.
Right.
Not first and second with 2 out, but I think you need to find out right away if he can throw. I mean, the Braves did that constantly when Mike Piazza was the catcher here. Testing his arm. He wasn't a good thrower.
But if you look at what's happened in the game tonight, Kelly didn't run because he has not seen Pelfrey. Chipper homered. McCann's not going to run. He reached with a single. Now with 2 outs, You have Bryant up again.
And both of his home runs this year have come on the first pitch.
Not this time as he looks low. 1 ball, no strikes. Crowd getting a little antsy here at Shea Stadium. Braves chance to put another run or two up here in the 3rd inning behind T.Hudson, who's looked terrific.
Mets trying to find out a little bit about Pelfrey too, though. You know, he's had a quick rise through their minor league system. He's only got a 7-3 record in the minors.
But with the offense that they sport, if he can keep them close, you figure for them the big bats are going to give him a chance to win some games. And every game that they can pitch without Pedro brings Pedro closer and puts him back in play in the 2nd half.
Let's face it, he could have a 5 ERA and win 15 games.
Steve Draxel did. So the deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, 2-run Atlanta lead, 3rd inning. Now Chipper and Andrew will start to run.
I will say this, it's obvious in the first couple of innings that when he's been trying real hard to make a pitcher's pitch and not make a mistake when he's had the count in his favor, he's been really off the mark. They haven't been, the only pitch I can think of, a tantalizer that was taken was Francoeurs on the called 3rd.
There go the runners. Lined into the right field corner. That's going to score at least 1. Chipper scores. Here comes Andrew around 3rd. He will score. And they're going to say a ground rule double. Now the ball bounced over the fence. And Andrew's going to have to go back to 3rd. That is a heartbreaker. If it stays in play, it's a 2 RBI hit. Instead, it's a 1-run scoring double for McCann with 2 outs.
That is a shame because the runners were moving on the full count. And Andrew had a chance to score on this if it stayed in the park, but it bounces on the warning track and up into those pennants, and that is a wall that is separated from the actual playing field fence. Yeah, Andrew would have scored easily. That's too bad.
So here's Francoeur, who struck out his first time and has a wicked cut. That's one thing I wish that baseball would consider changing, and perhaps they have. On a ground rule double like that, if in the umpire's judgment that runner at first would have scored, let him score. Really do penalize the offensive players if the fans interfere, for example, or on a play like that where the runners aren't moving.
Jeff having a word for Dale Scott. Didn't like that call. It was a breaking ball, but in the same spot as the pitcher called a strike on him to end his last at bat.
So if it's out there, Jeff, you better be hacking with a 2-strike count. That one gets away. LaDuca. Andrew's going to try to score, and he is going to score. So Paul LaDuca having a terrible time behind the plate with that sore hand. Couldn't find the baseball. And Andrew Jones scores. McCann to 3rd. It's a 4-run Atlanta lead.
You're taught as a runner at 3rd to take a walking lead toward home plate in anticipation of a play like this so that you're not flat-footed. Andrew got a good jump, and LaDuca pretty much gave up on it because he knew he wasn't going to be able to throw him out.
So a wild pitch scores the 4th run, and Francoeur with 2 strikes keeps the at-bat alive here at the 8 o'clock hour at Shea Stadium in New York.
Well, even though he's behind in the count, this is when Jeff's at his best. We've shown you numbers before about his average being so much better when he's got runners in scoring position than when the bases are empty.
Dale Scott gets popped.
Last 2 years with 2 out and runners on, Jeff more RBIs than even A-Rod and Ryan Howard. see what I mean on the pitch counts when he's got it 0-2 and 1-2. He's not making good pitches.
You mentioned Ryan Howard out of the lineup again for the Phillies with that strained knee ligament in his left leg. They're in Cincinnati tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, maybe that complaint earlier worked for Jeff that time. It's a little off the plate. You can see LaDuca had to reach over, then tried to pull it back.
Full count.
Good cut there.
And he goes down swinging to end the 3rd inning. 2 more Atlanta runs score with benefit of only 1 Braves hit. 4-0 behind Tim Hudson in New York.
You shot your wife. Allegedly. That's how it works, right? This thing was a setup.
Admit it was beautiful. Are you out of your mind? I think I'd decline to answer that one.
Fracture, rated R, now playing.
It's time to play Take on Orbitz. This week's winner is you. That's right, you.
Go to Orbitz.com during the Hotel Mega Sale and save $100 on 5 nights at select hotels nearly anywhere in the world. Just Orbitz and go.
3 V-dubs for under 17,000.
The VW Spring Clean Sales Event. 3 V-dubs for only $199 a month. Offer ends April 30th.
It's a whole new season and a whole new ball game. Major League Baseball 2K7 from 2K Sports. Rated everyone.
Wood finishing projects can feel too big to tackle, but Minwax always makes it easy with rich wood stains and clear protective finishes. It's that simple. Minwax makes and keeps wood beautiful.
Jim and Joe with you. Time for our Sonic All Access interview, and there's one of our dear friends in Major League Baseball, Julio Franco, with us in New York. Julio, great to see you tonight.
Hey, how you doing?
Terrific. How about this ball club you get to be a part of? Man, some offense you put together.
Well, it's outstanding ball club. I don't think it's only the offense. The defense is great also.
How are you feeling? I know you said at one point, Julio, you wanted to play till you were 50. You think you're going to make it? You turn 49 later this summer.
Well, I'm going to make it. I don't think my God bring me this far to forsake me. I believe that I'm going to make it to 50, and if I want to be on that.
Good.
Sean Green's going to lead things off for the Mets. Tim Hudson's retired the first 6 he has faced in tonight's ball game. And a quick strike to Sean Green.
One of the nice things for you, Julio, in this ball club is you've got a contemporary to talk to, Tom Glavine. So it's about the same age.
I know. I mean, they're older than him, but it's nice to be in a ballpark that we got a ball club that we got a little better with him. We got a lot of veteran guys. We got young guys and young superstars that are coming up. So it's a well-balanced ball club.
I wanted to ask you about Jose Reyes, the shortstop. You see any similarities in his game and your game when you were a youngster coming into the big leagues for the first time?
No, I think he got more ability than I did. He's faster, his arm is stronger, his fundamentals is excellent. His work habits are, are well mature for his age, and I believe we're seeing a superstar in the making.
I agree with you. I think he's going to win an MVP or 2 with this Mets ball club. He's and it's got to be fun too, Julio, to see guys grow up so quickly. From your perspective, as a guy who's been in the big leagues 20+ years as well.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of guys in here that you got to look up to and play the game right. We're not going to let him, be sloppy out there. He works hard. He played the game very hard, and he has fun while he's doing it. You can see that, that he takes it very seriously when he making out. He's not a pretty camper. He likes to be out there and have fun and perform well.
Jose Valentin, the hitter for New York, and the count to him now.
Julio, last year you guys skated into the championship. You ran away and left everybody. It looks obvious to you and probably everybody else that this Braves team is much improved. What are your thoughts on them?
Well, yes, I knew that they would improve the ball club, especially the bullpen. They got a great bullpen now, and they improved the ball club. So it's going to be a good race, and we up for it, and they up for it, and we'll see down the road who's going to play better ball.
We had one more question for you, but first this pitch to Jose Valentin from Hudson, and Scott Thorman will make the play at first. You've been around a long time. You've seen just about everybody who's ever pitched in Major League Baseball in a very long and very productive career, and I hope a Hall of Fame career for you, Julio. Who had the best fastball you ever faced?
That I ever faced was Roger Clemens when he was young.
Roger Clemens is a youngster.
Clemens.
What made his fastball so special?
Well, the thing is, he liked to intimidate hitters, and his fastball used to raise up, and you can just hear the pop on the glove, pop. And when he was on, the game was over.
Well, hopefully you and he will have a date in Cooperstown someday, Julio. It's great to see you. We wish you all the best in the world, and give our best to the family. We sure miss you back in Atlanta.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right, Julio Franco of the Mets says Tim Hudson is dealing tonight at Shea Stadium. Perfect through 3, and he's got a 4-run lead on TBS tonight.
23 trips to the doctor, 7 trips to the vet, 76 trips to the grocery store, 3 weekend getaways, 1 vacation with everything on it, 4 recitals, 23 soccer games, away, and back and forth to work every day in between. You depend on your vehicle for a lot over the course of a year. Make sure it stays dependable with regularly scheduled maintenance at your local Napa Auto Care Center.
Where does it hurt? New Elite Liquid Gels can make it better.
My neck has been getting really painful.
With a sore back, it's hard to paddle.
My knee is where it hurts.
Now for the first time, Liquid Speed meets Elite Straight. In new Elite Liquid Gels, all-day relief for painful joints, backs, and muscles.
My knee's nice and happy again. It's nice and loose.
I didn't even think about the pain.
I can focus on that rock.
Where does it hurt? Elite can make it better liquid fast.
Take me out to Esurance. Take me to Savings Online. Auto insurance and hassle-free. When you buy it, instantly let me quote. Buy with that Esurance. If you don't take it to shame. For it's 1, 2, $300 you could save with the Esurance name.
Save time and money on your auto insurance at Esurance.
How could you?
What?
The stain on your shirt.
Honey, I swear, that's just lipstick from my secretary.
Oh, please. You've been dipping.
No, I swear, I have been seeing Jessica.
Oh, you're lying. It's dipping sauce.
No!
Admit it, you love Jack's new sampler trio. Stuffed jalapenos, mozzarella cheese sticks, new spicy chicken bites, and oh, so good dipping sauces.
Who is this?
This is Jessica.
Big crowd at Shea Stadium, awfully quiet on Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic. The reason, Braves have 4 runs on 4 hits. The Mets haven't had a base runner yet, as Tim Hudson's been overpowering in the series opener here in Gotham. And it'll be Thorman, Langerhans, and Tim Hudson coming up against Mike Pelfrey, who has struck out 3 men, walked 1, hit a batter, but has been all over the place in that strike zone. That's why the Braves have jumped all over him. And it's good to see the Atlanta offense scoring early, adding on a little more, a little more, a little more as the day goes on.
And taking advantage of his mistakes, both the walk and the hit batsman, both scored. He doubled up on his changeup right there, something he hasn't done all night.
Popped up. Reyes at short. Should have no trouble. And he doesn't.
And with 1 out, time for tonight's Aflac trivia question. Aflac! Thank you. Over the last 70 years, which 3 players have won a league MVP before making an all-star team? That's interesting. Didn't get picked to the all-star team in the middle of the year, but became MVP by the end of it.
Langerhans jumps on the first pitch again and is down a strike.
And let's keep an eye on Langerhans' stance here. Talked to his first at bat afterwards because he had popped up on the first pitch, but he said he's eliminating the toe tap tonight. A little weight shift back tonight too.
Well, he's a better hitter, Joe, than he's shown this year.
No
2 for
question.
28, and I know it's weighing on him. I know he's frustrated by it. I know Terry Pendleton's been doing his due diligence with Langerhans in the cages. As he grounds that ball to Valentine, quick step to his right, 2 men out, and rivalry weekend is underway. Yankees, Red Sox. Mark, do you have an update for us?
Oh, we got an update, all right. Let's start with the wearing of the green, though, honoring the late Red Auerbach and the Boston Celtics. You saw Bob Cousy. And how about A-Rod? Yep, he did it again. Over the green monster, number 11 on the season. Yankees lead it 2-0, guys.
11 home runs in 15 games for the New York Yankees and Alex Rodriguez.
Kidding me. And there was even talk about, you know, trying to find somebody that would take the contract and trade him because he had fallen out of favor so harshly with the New York fans. Man, oh man.
I think he's doing the right thing. He's not chirping about his role in the media or his role in the community or whether the fans are going to like him or if he gets along with Derek Jeter. He's just playing. And boy, has he been heroic. A game-winning home run yesterday, an early game home run today. Unbelievable.
I bet he's Derek's best buddy right now.
I would think so. Shoot, yeah. And again, we don't live in New York. We have the great privilege of traveling here 2 or 3 times a year. Don't know how much of that is overblown in the New York media. I'm sure that's a great deal of it. But if they win, all that other stuff will be forgotten. As Hudson, fair ball over the bag and into the left field corner. Tim on his way to second as Alou over quickly. And how about that bit of hitting for Tim Hudson? Right over the top of the third base pillow for a 2-out double.
Second hit of the year. David Wright never in his wildest dreams expected him to pull the ball. And Rick Reed right there watching it go over the bag. Another 2-out RBI would be nice here for Tim Hudson.
Braves, as you know, score a lot of runs with 2 outs. Kelly up there, 1 for 2 in the game. He scored his 12th run ahead of Chipper's 2-run first-inning homer. Braves a couple of runs on 1 hit in the 3rd. And LaDuca is working overtime as Pelfrey's pitches are moving everywhere tonight.
Look at this outfield defense for Kelly Johnson. They've got Alou way over near the line and a huge gap in here between Alou and Beltran. It's almost like, and Beltran's pretty much playing him straight away, but it's almost like saying he's either going to flare it to left or he's going to pull the ball.
Well, let's see if Kelly can make one skip to Malou in the 4th.
That would work just fine.
Will Bobby greenlight him 3-0? We'll never know. Ball 4. So more 2-out trouble for Pelfrey. Fans are booing the kid. He's down 4 runs, and Renteria's coming up.
Gives a chance while LaDuca's out to calm him down a little bit to take a look at Edgar Renteria's hit chart. Mentioned he's hitting .243 coming into the game tonight against right-handers. .227 though, just .227 against left-handers, and he does a great job of spraying it around. But it's just apparent to me, Chip, that with right-handers, he waits to make sure he doesn't pull off the ball to try to drive it to right.
Swung on, towering fly ball deep left. Moises Alou going back at the edge of the track. He just missed it. Good cut by Renteria, but he skies out, and the Braves are done in their half of the 4th.
Fastest pitch at the top of the 4th inning, bumped in at 80 miles per hour. conflict boils over like an angry sludge, rearing a decaying spiral of fevered ferocity.
3 V-dubs for under 17,000. Whoa!
Hope. Spring.
Away hot. You can watch the game or you can observe the game.
Yeah.
And John's certainly observing because he'll be pitching here Sunday afternoon, and you better pay attention to the man in the batter's box, Jose Reyes, who was struck out to open up the game. Tim has 3 of those tonight, and nary a Mets runner so far in the game.
When you're successful and you've been in the game as long as Smoltz has and players like John, you don't miss much.
Broken bat roller right side. Foreman, perfect feed to Hudson, and there's your first out.
And now time for tonight's Aflac trivia question answer. Let's get the duck back out there. Thank you. Our question was, of the last 70 years, there are 3 players who have won an MVP award before even making an all-star team. Who are they? I had no idea Terry Pendleton was never a National League All-Star before his MVP with the Braves. Very interesting. Justin Morneau, Kirk Gibson, the other 2. That's a good one, Hal.
There's Terry Pendleton. There's Paul LaDuca. That sore right index finger playing behind the plate tonight. He flat out to center in the opening inning. Belt high strike. Evens up the count.
Boy, Tim Sharp tonight. He's going up and down in the strike zone, too. That was a letter high strike called by Dale Scott. But he's really changing locations well.
To third. Chipper to his left. Plenty of time. 2 out.
Chipper told me after the game last night that for a game in which the Braves got shut out and for a game in which he took an over, he said, I had about as much fun as a guy can have in that situation. He said there was a little leather being thrown around last night. I think he was proud of the game he played, and he should have been.
Yeah, he made 3 outstanding plays over at third base last night against the Cubs. As Beltran looks high at the ball, 1 ball, no strikes. And he wasn't, as you said, he wasn't making light of the fact that the Braves lost the ball game. No. He was not happy about that. Wasn't happy that Rich Hill just carved up the Braves lineup. But that one facet of the game was something, you're right, he was very, very pleased with his and his teammates' defensive effort against Chicago.
Good pitch, keeping him honest inside. Well, I don't know about you, Chip, but I don't know why, but I think Chipper's a much better third baseman now than he was his first tour of duty as a third baseman. I don't know that his range is quite as good as it was, but he's more sure-handed.
Now he backs up a couple of steps as he gets a look at McCann's signal. He knows what pitch is coming, so he should be in position. And the 3-1 is ball 4 high, and there's the perfect game by the boards. First base runner of the night is Carlos Beltran, who reaches on a 2-out walk. Here's Delgado. Again, Carlos really struggling. 2 hits in his last 15 at-bats, but he's the kind of guy that can get hot with one swing, and once he does get hot, he'll carry a club for a week or 2. So now the challenge for Hudson. First time tonight he's been into the stretch.
Renteria in reverse. He's hitting .391 so far against left-handers. Bring him on, he says. Right-handers for the year, he's 4 for 37 now.
Amazing. Mets are down 4 runs. You wouldn't figure Beltran to be running, but he's got a very good lead. And draws a quick throw. How about the swipe tag by Scott Thorman?
Quick feet by Hudson on the turn and quick tag.
Beltran 3 out of 4 in stolen bases. Mets as a club run much more frequently than do the Braves. 3 numbers on the right side of the diamond. As Delgado skips the rope, the ball and the strike.
If you're going to pitch him down and in, you have to do what Tim just did, and that's really bury that pitch down in on his shoe tops. He's so good at golfing pitches. Middle of the plate end.
His picture on the scoreboard is in his range. That's the kind of power he's got. Popped up left side. Playable for Chipper Jones. In foul ground. And Hudson takes a no-hitter through 4 tonight in New York. And Braves offense gives him a 4-run lead.
You like this hot fudge shake?
The Oreo bits are good.
Why aren't you drinking yours?
I'm waiting for it to cool down.
It's a hot fudge shake, but it's not hot. Once the hot fudge hits the shake part, it's all cold. See?
Not as hot as you would think a shake might be.
You never think that a shake is hot.
Unless it's called a hot fudge shake.
Even then, you pretty much figure out that it's not going to be hot.
Well, you have to have somebody explain it to you.
You do.
Hot fudge shake made with Oreo cookies. New at Sonic. A favorite childhood cookie blended with hot fudge into a cool, creamy treat. Pay the Sonic way. Swipe your credit or My Sonic card from your car.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Got an MLB mindset? You'll need it. The #1 baseball game is back. MLB 07, The Show. Rated E for everyone. Available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable.
Oh, hey! Check it out. It's brand new. Yeah, it's a trimmer. Well, it's also a blower. You just flip this. Boom, just like that. Yeah, I just got it at the Home Depot. It's too bad you have one, too.
The new Cub Cadet Trimmer Blower Combo from the Home Depot makes yard work a snap. One quick switch and you're in business. We're making Saturday mornings a little easier.
The Home Depot. You can do it, we can help.
Braves TBS Extra. Brought to you by Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2. Feeds and strengthens grass, kills weeds completely. And by Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Chipper Jones leads off the Braves' 5th. A towering 2-run homer in the first. Walked and scored ahead of a Brian McCann double his last time up. And the Braves lead 4-0 here at Shea Stadium. Joe Simpson, Chip Carey, Hal Galima, our stat man. Roy Alfers, our director tonight. Glenn Diamond, our producer. Just our great TBS crew for a big weekend of baseball against the first place Mets tonight.
Chipper had in mind to go deep again on that swing, chasing that high fastball.
Didn't take him long to heat up in this series, did it?
No. First pitch he saw from Pelfrey in the first inning. Off the signage just below the scoreboard there. Last 2 pitches to him have been those sinking fastballs from Pelfrey. That last one might have been a changeup. But he's getting some good action on his fastball here in the middle innings. A little disagreement there. The young pitcher actually shook LaDuca off. Didn't want the fastball in.
Swung on, high fly ball, left center field. Will Beltran catch that? He will. One man down in our 5th inning. Coming up in the bottom of the 5th, we'll have our Sonic Youth Movement segment. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Sonic presents What's in My Locker. Jeff Francoeur is tonight's victim. And in the 7th, we'll recap our Sonic Great Braves moments with Eddie Perez joining us here in New York tonight.
There have been some balls hit tonight off Pelfrey that were just missed, including the last one there by Chipper. Andrew had one the 1st inning. Renteria just missed one last inning that would have been a 3-run homer.
That one into the left field corner. Moises Alou will go in and dig it out. And that bounces over the fence. It'll be a rule book double for Andrew Jones. So that snaps an 0 for 10 slide for him. And Andrew's 4th double puts him into scoring position with a 4-run Atlanta lead. And back to our Sonic Inside Tracks. John Smoltz mic'd up again tonight.
That's a bad break. Make them pay. Make them pay. Nicey nice. A few of us would have been standing up. Nice, Mac. Hey, next time, though, don't get it to bounce so high.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Yeah, sure. Well, Brian, halfway to the cycle. He's singled, he's doubled.
And John Smoltz seriously overrating his own foot speed. About 3 of us would have scored standing up on that wild pitch.
Well, he'll have a chance to prove that on Sunday as LaDuca takes some more punishment. That was a good stop.
He's a solid catcher, but to say he's catching shorthanded tonight might be a bit of an understatement, because he is certainly hurting that bad finger.
Toward third. David Wright looks the runner back. And there's your second out. Brian will be upset that he couldn't get Andrew to third or in, so he's 2 for 3. And let's see if Francoeur can solve Pelfrey here. Jeff has struck out twice in as many at bats.
And they've worked him away early in the count. If he will remember that and go with that approach to take what Pelfrey gives him, and if they're consistent with the way they pitched him tonight, he might get something good to hit to right center.
Took a shot at right field, tries to dump that ball into shallow right center, and Valentin over his head made an unbelievable catch. Leathered larceny by Jose Valentin at second base to rob Francoeur. Unbelievable play. And the Braves and Jeff Francoeur out of luck in the top of the 5th.
The minute I checked in, they told me where the pool was. And you gotta love that free breakfast.
I had 5 donuts. It was so good. Keep on the sunny side of life.
It's a whole new season and a whole new ball game. Major League Baseball 2K7 from 2K Sports. Rated everyone. Conflict boils over like an angry sludge. We're in a decaying spiral of fevered ferocity. 3 V-dubs for under 17,000. Whoa! Hope. Spring.
The VW Spring Fling Sales Event. 3 V-dubs for only $1.99 a month. Offer ends April 30th.
Time for our youth movement presented by Sonic. The subject tonight, baseball is a family affair. family affair. Any guesses?
No, not yet.
Okay, no. All right. Keep going.
Westward heave ho. Westward heave ho. I got nothing.
No idea.
Shiny slugger.
Oh, Brian McCann?
Hey. Oh,
There you
there
go.
he is. Yep.
Off the market with the new contract, right?
He'll be getting married.
Oh, getting married. Oh, well, that's a new contract too.
Yeah, it is.
As a matter of fact. So if I'm not mistaken, we've had 3 of those Sonic Youth movements, right?
Yes.
And I've guessed 2. That would mean that you've guessed 1. Right?
Let me see. How many have we done?
3.
Okay.
And you have how many?
I've got 1.
Okay. I think I have 2. So not that we're keeping track. As David Wright, long hit streak, leads it off. Ripped right back our way. So here we go again. All those pictures.
Got the knuckle curve working down here.
Look at that. Look at the upper left. Look who he's talking to. John Smoltz. John looks the same.
Yeah.
That's a little scary. Two balls, 2 strikes. David Wright. 4-0 Braves. Hard hit ball to short. Renteria. Second hop. Toss across. 1 man down. One more great picture from our Sonic Youth movement. Wow.
Over in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, we're told in this picture. And then they were sitting next to each other in the dugout earlier.
That's Brian's brother to his right. That's, I mean, John looks the same, man.
Those are great pictures.
Here's Moises Alou. And he's out in front of a pitch for a strike. 0-1 your count. Thanks to Jeff Randolph and all the guys and gals for getting those pictures together and creating a really, really cool feature.
Brian's mom, Sherry, contributed to that effort, too. We thank her for that. Speaking of efforts, Tim Hudson's been pretty good tonight.
Has he ever? The Mets tonight have hit 1, 2, 3 balls out of the infield. That's it. Moises guessed wrong. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, that was a pitch called a strike on him to end his last at bat, too, so he's not happy about either one of those calls, but Dale Scott's been consistent. But just the way the Mets have been swinging the bat, we've chronicled that tonight. Lends more credence to how well Tim is pitching.
Into center field, and there's your first New York hit. Hot weather, cold weather doesn't bother that guy. He is just a remarkable right-hand hitter.
John Green.
Slider, stayed on it. Had a good cut at the ball, went with the pitch. Nothing Hudson could do about that.
Clean single. Give Alou credit. So there's the first hit. Second Met base runner. Now Sean Green is up. He wore out the Braves in Atlanta. And now the fans get back in the game as they finally have a rally going. Up the middle. Renteria can't get back. First and second with 1 man out. And now you worry about the power of this Met lineup. Valentin only 1 home run, but he too flirted with a 300 batting average.
Yeah, he came into the game red hot, 9 for 17 with a home run over that stretch.
Now the pitcher spot is due next. And the Mets bullpen has some activity working. It would not surprise me if they take Pelfrey down here if Valentin can keep it alive. They have the ability, 1 or 2 swings, to score 2, 3, 4 runs.
There are no soft spots in their lineup, including Valentin, who's batting 8th.
Ground Ground ball toward first. Foreman, second for one. Good stretch for Renteria. And that's what the Braves get. They're at the corners now with 2 outs, and Pelfrey is indeed being called back to the New York dugout.
Good play by Thorman there. Not really a chance to get a double play because Valentin gets down the line pretty quick.
Number 17.
But he still keeps the force in play even with 2 outs, and that's helpful to the rest of your infield. And Renteria able to stretch for it like a first baseman to get that sure out.
I want to thank Monica Campbell as well for that great feature that we had for Brian McCann, our youth movement. Monica's back in Atlanta watching tonight, so thank you as well. As Hudson now with 2 outs, men at the corners, and the Mets go to their bench. And David Newhan is going to come up.
Came over, spent some time in Baltimore. He's been their primary pinch hitter, 2 for 7.
Mets with Chavez, Franco, Castro, and Easley left on their bench in reserve for Willie Randolph tonight. 2 outs. First threat against Hudson in the game.
Doing what you're doing if you're Tim. A lot of ground ball outs.
Inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Both McCann and Hudson thought that was a strike, and Dale Scott let Tim know it was inside.
Nasty breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. I know hitters will make a point with an umpire. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say real quick, good thing that Brian McCann had the hard hat on catching, because the follow through on the back cracked him right in the head.
Catchers have that hard helmet for plays just like that. You think about the 60s and 70s before those helmets, the shots that those guys would take with just the wool caps. But the point I was going to ask you, you hear the you see the catcher maybe turn his head and talk to the umpire about a pitch he didn't get. Does the hitter ever get a retort in that conversation?
Oh, it did if I was involved in it. So no, I'd brag to the umpire. Oh, nice call. That was inside.
Low with Reyes on deck.
Yeah, there's only so much lobbying that can take place without another lobbyist being
Yeah.
involved.
Can't be a one-way argument, can it?
Does he go back to that split finger pitch? And if it was, it got away from him. He's been to a few 3-ball counts tonight, but he's been able to make a good pitch when he needed to. And he needs to here. Much rather pitch to Newen 3-1 than to have Reyes come up.
He lost it. Bases are full of Mets. Tying run comes to the plate, and it is Reyes. Pedro Feliciano is the man up and throwing in the New York bullpen, so he'll come on for the 6th inning. All that remains to be decided is the score. Reyes 0 for 2 in the game.
And doing a good job like most of his teammates with runners in scoring position. He's hitting .313.
Mets fans are on their feet for Reyes already. It's only the 5th inning. And a quick strike. Well, he's pitched him tough tonight. Alu at 3rd. Valentin at 2nd. Newen, the pinch hit walk. And now Reyes at his mercy, down 2 strikes.
That was an off-speed pitch. Looked like a straight change. And Tim got away with a mistake there. It was left up. But it was a good enough change of speed that it had Reyes out on his front foot. There wasn't much he could do with it. And McCann took one off the bare hand, and he's trying to get some feeling back in it.
Well, the Mets offense gets rolling. This place rocks with that rolling, man. They are into this club. Great year last year. Dethroned Atlanta. And now they want to see Reyes come through with 2 outs. And the soccer chant starts. And he fought off a wicked slider.
Hitting .360 for the year with 2 strikes on him. Shows you how he cuts down on his swing and puts it in play. He only struck out 8 times in 61 plate appearances. 61 at-bats, I should say. Striking out about once every 9 at-bats when you add up walks, sacrifices.
The 0-2. Line. Kelly Johnson diving stop. Quick flip and in time. Kelly Johnson robbed Reyes. Boy, has he looked good defensively. That might be a game saver. Mets load him up. Can't score. 4-0 heading to the 6th.
Also be on the lookout in the stands for Mr.
Come spring and summer, our yard is our family room. We sleep in there, but we definitely live out here.
I really just like the feeling of the grass.
We like a healthy lawn, and it's got to be durable, and our lawn really is both.
A healthy lawn means that we can get out there, feel comfortable in the grass.
We use Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2. It feeds the lawn, and it kills dandelions.
We hate dandelions. We don't like to have them around.
I got some good old-fashioned grass stains on my pants. That's a sign of a good day. We had a lot of fun. I want to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's our Scott's lawn.
Hey, what's wrong? Joe's athlete's foot. He takes me off, puts me on, takes me off, smearing on those creams over and over.
Ah, show him the new stuff. It's new Lamisil Gel Advanced.
It's blue?
Yes. Its revolutionary cooling gel penetrates faster, and it gets rid of athlete's foot with half the treatments of the other stuff. It's the most advanced medicine out there.
Half the treatments? Never heard of that before.
That's because it's new, laddie. New Lamisil Gel Advanced. Half the treatments, all the cure.
2 sourdough melts for $3? Incredible.
When you're thinking Arby's, you can't think about anything else. Like 2 Arby's sourdough melts for only $3. So good, they'll have you saying.
2 sourdough melts for $3? Incredible.
When you're thinking Arby's, you can't think about anything else. Like 2 Arby's sourdough melts for only $3. So good, they'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Braves TBS Extra. Brought to you by Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2. Feeds and strengthens grass. Kills weeds completely. And by Lamisil Gel Advanced.
Wow, what a play by Kelly Johnson to deny the Mets. It's 4-0 heading to the 6th. Pelfrey is out of the game. And here you go. The Mets bullpen has been awesome. No runs in their last 19 innings and 2/3. Their bullpen, remarkable this year. And it's anchored by Billy Wagner. And Thorman spins away as we look at his scorecard, brought to you by Honda Motorcycles tonight. Mets bullpen, Joe, 2-1 this year with a 1.51 ERA.
And that was a point of concern for a lot of people with the Mets coming out of spring training and during spring training. Luciano really doing a lot of dropping down on the left-handed batter. But check out these ERAs. And Heilman had some arm issues that was keeping him from pitching.
Well, they're missing Mota, who's suspended. They're missing Sanchez, who's had surgery. And Foreman could not stop himself. Scott down on strikes on a check swing. 0 for 3 is he. And a perfect 3 for 3 in updates tonight is Mark Fine. Mark?
Well, speaking of perfect, here you go, Chip. Guess who? Well, first, we're going to show you Jason Varitek tying the game with the Yankees at 2. 2-run shot for Varitek, but Well, I blew the lead there, didn't I? Yeah, it's A-Rod again. Fastest ever to 12 home runs. Unbelievable. Now 25th, alone at 25th on the all-time home run list.
How about that? 12 home runs for A-Rod. That's as many as the entire Mets team.
Wow. It's just incredible what he's doing to all fields, too.
Langerhans hits. Bounces that ball to Reyes. Funny hop, but he stuck with it. And Ryan's retired for out number 2. You, I'm sure, at some point in your baseball career, be it high school, Legion ball, college ball, were locked in at some point. Maybe not to the extent that A-Rod is in for the New York Yankees. What is that feeling like, however long or brief that period is, where you just crush everything?
Yeah, I hit 12 home runs one month in a wiffle ball game that was an ongoing game.
With Kathy pitching?
Yeah, probably. She got me out regularly. I was thinking about Kelly Johnson early in the game, and when he got that hit leading off the game, that's what I relate to, is leading off and feeling so good and so confident at the plate. You've heard hitters say before, I'm seeing the ball real well. And that's part of it. You're willing to wait, see the ball out of the pitcher's hand, and then you can track it better. It's just when your body won't let you wait, you start getting out of your front foot and your eyes are moving, that things start going haywire. That's what I relate to with what Kelly's doing right now with all these line drives he's hitting. Once in a while, you'd find yourself in a streak like that, and it feels so good, you just hope it never ends. It makes you realize why this game's so much fun when it goes that way.
Back toward us. Hit it that way, Tim. Coming up at Sonic, What's in My Locker? We'll take a look at what Jeff Francoeur keeps in his locker. All that and more as we continue with Braves TBS Extra, presented by Sonic. Good night tonight, Atlanta 4-0. Hudson rolls back to the mound, and the Mets' run of perfection continues out of the pen. 3 up, 3 down for Feliciano. Last of the 6th. Atlanta with a 4-run lead.
Hey, think I got here by sitting on my butt all day playing video games? Come on, get out there on a Honda. Who knows? Maybe one day some kid will be playing you.
The Honda CRF F-Series. Unplug your kids. As low as $39 a month upon approved credit, and up to $200 in bonus bucks on select models.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Carl, and this is where it hurts. My neck. Climbing. I absolutely love it. Where is a good place to put my feet, and where can I go from there? And then you just start climbing. I get sore everywhere, but my neck has been getting really painful. I was Robot Girl, where I couldn't move, couldn't turn. I recently tried the Aleve liquid gels. I loved them because they are very quick. They've really helped a lot with the pain in my neck. The Aleve liquid gels helped me get back on the rock. They're in my purse at all times.
23 trips to the doctor, 7 trips to the vet, 76 trips to the grocery store, 3 weekend getaways, 1 vacation with everything on it, 4 recitals, 23 soccer games, away, and back and forth to work every day in between. You depend on your vehicle for a lot over the course of a year. Make sure it stays dependable with regularly scheduled maintenance at your local Napa Auto Care Center.
I'm Jeff, and let me show you what's in my locker. And this is my favorite thing. Sometimes I'll walk around in my underwear in this. It says, "Don't mess with Texas." This is what I wear to the school. I'm a country music song waiting to happen. I'd rather be a country music star than a baseball player, but I have no musical voice. My cholesterol is too high right now. Jeff needs to eat less saturated fat. I need to emphasize on vegetables, fruits, fish, grains, and nuts. That's my motivation right there, but I did eat at the varsity on the way to the field today, so that probably didn't help. Took Langerhans there for the first time. You know, it's a locker and it does what it needs to do, so thank you for joining me.
Well, you can't beat a guy willing to go to the fast food, man, to get you ready for a ball game. Nothing better.
I'm going to have to tell him all about that Sonic.
That's exactly right.
Cherry limeade will bring down his cholesterol.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Raise your spirits, lower the cholesterol. It's an elixir. As LaDuca bounces the first pitch he sees to Chipper Jones. Plenty of time to get him. And there's out number 1. Funny story on Jeff Francoeur. You know, when you come to New York, lots of things to do, lots of diversions and such. I'm going through a similar problem that Jeff is, and that's a new cellular telephone.
Yeah, but you go through that every week.
No. Well, Jeff got up early this morning, went to his cell phone provider here in New York City to get a new cell phone. Something was wrong with his other cell phone. He's in the store as that one hit up the elevator shaft by Beltran. Who's going to catch that? Edgar Renteria gives way to Ryan Langerhans. Good communication, quickly 2 out. So Jeff goes to get his new cell phone. Tries to get the cell phone turned on. They said, we can't help you. So why not? Your cell phone's in your mom's name. So Jeff's wandering around New York and on the road trip because he's still on the family plan, man.
Well, that's great. That wasn't, but that was a great story.
How about that?
Yeah.
So, Mom, bring for a couple bucks so he can get his own line.
In New York, need your help. That's great.
Here's Delgado.
Well, what else is great? You get to the 6th inning, you get an out on 1 pitch from LaDuca and an out on 1 pitch from Beltran. You can have a short inning here if you get Delgado to make an out.
Well, Tim's never going to be a guy who's going to throw an 8-inning game in 75, 80 pitches. That's just not his style. Pitches move too much. He gets so many strikeouts out of that natural movement. But I think it's fair to say, Joe, that in his starts this year, he's been much more economical than he's ever been in a Braves uniform.
And I think that's confidence, Chip. I think when you know your stuff's good and you feel like you've got the feel back for what was an ace pitch for you, that split finger, you're not afraid to try to throw first pitch strikes and then dictating it back. 7 innings on every one of his starts so far, and it hasn't gone over 100 pitches yet.
So not only is the quantity impressive, the quality is impressive because he's getting outs, getting his strikeouts, and he's not making, and he'd tell you this, he's not making the mistake with 2 outs or 2 strikes that really plagued him because, again, he's got the darting action back on his pitches, and that split finger is such a big weapon for him with 2 strikes. And it's all working for him tonight as he has Delgado in trouble. Thorman dives to his right. Nice flip to Hudson, who has a very easy inning number 6. All Atlanta tonight in New York and Shea Stadium.
The repeat does for under 17,000.
The VW Spring Clean Sales Event. 3 V-Dubs for only $1.99 a month. Offer ends April 30th.
A rainforest, the ultimate torture test for your deck. Thompson's Water Seal Advanced, the ultimate protection. It seals out 99% of the water right from the start. For a longer lasting deck, get the most powerful protection against water damage guaranteed. Thompson's Water Seal Advanced.
It's a whole new season and a whole new ball game. Major League Baseball 2K7 from 2K Sports. Rated everyone.
Hi, this is Eddie Perez, and this is my top 3 Braves moments. 1995, my first big league hit was a homer against the Cincinnati Reds.
Down the left field line and gone.
98 grand slam against the Cubs in the playoffs. My favorite moment is in 1999 when we beat the Mets, and I was the MVP.
So here are the tabulations. Winning the MVP against the Mets.
As you would expect, and the folks expected it. And I can understand why it would be for Eddie. He was really special in that NLCS. One that was extremely crushing and disappointing to the Mets. Atlanta fans everywhere love that.
So Kelly Johnson starts off the 7th inning. He told me on that homestand in Atlanta he really loves seeing the left-hand pitchers. And he has been doing a great job against them. Keeps that shoulder in. And he says it really helps him against the righties too. Which begs the question, why is it in baseball, and why has it been for 150 years, that left-handed hitters are penalized and not allowed to face left-handed pitchers when the same rule does not apply to right-hand slider ball pitchers against right-hand hitters?
I don't know. Mark Lemke and I had a long discussion about this last night on the radio pregame show, and it basically is just trying to convince your manager that you're capable. There's just some unwritten rule that lefties can't hit lefties until proven different. Not the same for right-handers. You face left-handed pitchers every day. I mean, you're in the lineup every day in the minor leagues, and you deal with it. And while your numbers might not be as good, you still get used to facing them and work your tail off to do well against them. But all of a sudden you get to the big leagues, it's like a proving ground all over again. And you can run through some guys recently with the Braves who had to do that.
Full count. And Kelly down on strikes. Nice rebound from Feliciano. One away.
One guy, Animal Roach, came up. He had to work his way into the lineup against lefties. He was being platooned over there a lot with Julio. Scott Dorman's going through that right now. Until he can prove that he can handle lefties on a daily basis, he's probably going to platoon a lot.
But what a catch-22 that is. How can you prove you can play against them when you don't play against them?
That's the age-old question. How do I get experience if I don't get experience?
So Edgar stands in, and it's against the lefties that he too has had some issues. 0 for 3 against Pelfrey tonight. The Mets starter went 5 innings, 4 runs, 6 hits, a couple of walks, and 3 strikeouts. Braves touched him up for 2 in the first. That went into left center field. Alu's not going to get that. He hit that ball one-handed to the warning track. And Renteria in scoring position in front of Chipper Jones. That's his 3rd double of the year.
And a chance for the Braves to hand Feliciano his first earned run of the year. Sidearm sinker. But Edgar stayed with it. Didn't pull off. He was fooled a little bit. He still had enough left in his hands on his swing to drop the barrel of the bat on that off-speed pitch.
So let's see if the Braves can end a couple of streaks in this game alone. The Mets have not given up a run out of their bullpen in 21 innings now. They have scored 7 runs or more in 3 straight games. They haven't scored yet tonight. And a man in scoring position for Chipper, who for this time of year, I think, is surprised by the number of left-handed pitchers he and the Braves have faced.
And he's been swinging great right-handed. How about that last sweeping breaking ball to the outside corner? Feliciano.
Valentin trying to keep Edgar close to the second base bag. He had a huge lead. That's what forced Feliciano to step off.
And by bluffing a little bit, he pulls Feliciano out of position for Chipper. Another one.
Strike 2. A 2-run Jones homer in the first with 1 out. That came off Pelfrey.
Take a look at where this pitch comes from. And drops in for a strike. It almost comes from the first baseline. Easy to give up on that pitch.
Slow roller hit toward the left side. Reyes calls off right. Low throw. Delgado can't handle it. Now Renteria is going to go to third. That throw off target. Excellent base running by the Braves and a rare defensive miscue or miscommunication on the left side of the New York infield. And Chipper very slowly back to the first base bag here in our 7th inning.
And this starts, I think, when Reyes thought Wright was going to cut in front of him. So he played back a little bit. Now all of a sudden he's got to hurry his throw. Throws low. Delgado can't dig it out. And Edgar Renteria, hustling here, knows that Delgado does not throw well. He doesn't have a good arm. In fact, he's got a bad arm. That's why he's got to play first. And he took full advantage of it here.
So that will be an error. And for New York, it's only the 7th error they've committed this year. The Braves in business to maybe put this one out of reach if Andrew can split a gap somewhere.
Well, I know Andrew's been watching from the on-deck circle and the dugout how he's been pitching to Chipper. He's going to get breaking ball. They need a double play ball.
Mets have turned a ton of those so far this year. Mets came into play tonight. 23 double plays turned defensively behind their pitching staff.
Yeah, that compares to just 6 for Atlanta.
And you're right about that breaking ball, man. That's not a slider, is it?
No, it's just a flat curve ball. He drops down and flips up there. Like I said, it's so far out there, you never expect it to come back.
Tried to tie him up with a fastball, 2 balls and a strike. I think the slider was the pitch of the 80s and 90s. Maybe you'll see the curveball start to come back with the way that Roy Oswalt, Barry Zito, and Rich Hill throw theirs. It's a tough pitch to throw at the flatter mound. But boy, has it been effective. For Feliciano tonight, Hill last night in Atlanta.
Still got to look away. 3-1 the count. Feliciano doesn't throw hard enough to really worry Andrew. You got to look middle of the plate away on him.
Good hitters count. And the bags are full. And now they have to face Brian McCann, who is another Braves hitter who doesn't care if it's a lefty or a righty.
No, but it's to the Mets' advantage to pitch to him over Andrew here, not only because he's left-handed, but because he's a slower runner and more likely to be a double play candidate.
He's singled, he's doubled, and he's bounced out. He got 1 RBI in this 3rd inning blow because the ball was ruled a ground rule double.
Yeah, Andrew had to go back in order to score it on a wild pitch.
And he loves the first pitch. Let's see what he does. He took it for a strike.
And it was a fastball. You know, he was sitting on that big sweeping curve that Thorman and Kelly Johnson got.
No balls and a strike. Another fastball surprised him. 0-2.
Crossed him up big time. You got to understand why he was looking for the curveballs, because of the way Feliciano pitched the other 2 lefties this inning. And the hard part now is running the risk of trying to look for that curveball and taking a 3rd fastball. You can't afford to do that. You've got to adjust to the curve now.
He couldn't. Big strikeout. Bags are full of Braves with 2 down, and Francoeur is the scheduled hitter. The Mets bullpen is busy.
Did come back with the curve 0-2, and it was going to be a strike. That was the pitch Brian was looking for the first 2 pitches. Obviously upset with himself.
So they'll let Feliciano face Francoeur here. Jeff 0 for 3, robbed by Valentin on the defensive play of this game. And no place to put him, ball 1. Back toward us. And the count evens a ball and a strike. If you look at Jeff's career numbers, he has been a guy who's really prospered at Turner Field, hitting over 300 in Atlanta in his young career, but some 70 points lower away from Turner Field lifetime. Be a good spot to improve on that.
And I think that will improve, especially this year. And he's got to. He just fouled off the fastball, but he's got to still respect the fact that everything's going to be away and almost give up the inside 3rd of the plate if Feliciano tries to come back in there. Watch LaDuca where he sets up.
Good patience. 3 balls and a strike.
If you look fastball here, that's okay, 3-1, because he can't walk you. There's no place to put you. But you really got to have a small strike zone. You've got to look for a pitch right in one spot. And if it's not there, and it's a strike anyway, he's still got to throw another one.
Outfield straightaway and deep for Francoeur. He walks with the bases loaded. How about that? Jeff's 7th walk of the year. Give him his 16th RBI, scoring from third Renteria, and the Braves have a 5-0 lead.
It's a big run. Kind of looks like the Braves are putting them away, but that's a big run in this ball game with this high-powered offense.
And the first run given up by the Mets pen in 21 innings and 1/3.
And Thorman's going to be called back, and Craig Wilson is going to pinch hit. Let's see if that prompts a move from Willie Randolph.
Pinch hitting for Atlanta, number 38, Craig Wilson.
So Wilson with 12 career pinch hit home runs will get Feliciano out of the game as Willie Randolph will go to his Mets bullpen. All Braves tonight. 5-0 is our score. Braves trying to reclaim first in the early stages of the 2007 season in this National League's Eastern Division. So it's 5-0. Wilson coming up. We'll be back after a break.
Nice car. Not so nice scratch. Wouldn't it be nice if removing ugly scratches from your car was this easy? Now with new Finish Scratch Doctor, removing surface scratches is easy. In fact, independent laboratory tests have proven Scratch Doctor to be the best scratch remover available. Scratch Doctor with advanced microtechnology also removes paint scrapes, scuffs, haze, and swirl marks. So get Scratch Doctor.
#1 rated Scratch Doctor available at Advance Auto, True Value, Walgreens, Target, AutoZone, Kmart, and other leading stores.
It's 30 shrimp at Red Lobster. That's 30 chances to indulge, 30 cravings to satisfy. Mix and match your 2 favorites from decadent shrimp pasta, crunchy hand-breaded, succulent scampi, or savor a first taste of new garlic grilled shrimp. Tender shrimp brushed with a garlic butter sauce. Choose your 2 favorites for just $12.99 during 30 shrimp only at Red Lobster.
Mark 5 back in our Atlanta studios with your Braves TBS Extra. You know, TBS, your home for the 2007 Division Series, National League Championship Series. With that in mind, we've been looking back at some of the great playoff moments. Tonight, for the first time, the Braves take center stage. 1999 National League Championship Series. Braves up 7-5 in the 7th when Mike Piazza comes up against John Smoltz. And well, Smoltz not going to like this one, not seeing it again. Yeah, Piazza takes him deep to tie the game. But the deciding at bat, 9-9, bottom of the 11th, Andrew Jones facing Kenny Rogers, and Rogers walks in the winning run. 1999, last time the Braves played in the World Series. More great moments like that right here on TBS this fall. Now let's get you back to the Eagles.
And let's get to our know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot, and it comes from Nancy Decker from Halstead, Pennsylvania, who wants to know who was the oldest baseball player to play baseball before retiring. Well, we talked to Julio earlier tonight. As I said, he'll be 49 later this summer, but the oldest was Satchel Paige. Back in September of 1965 with the Kansas City Athletics, he was 59 years and 78 days old.
Wow.
Pitching for Kansas City.
Now I would have guessed Minnie Minoso.
Me too.
But it was Satchel Paige. Wow. Craig Wilson will start things here against Ambiorix Burgos, another big right-hander out of that Met bullpen.
This guy has a career 144 strikeouts in a career 144 innings.
Well, obviously with a 3.68 ERA, he needs some seasoning down at AA. With this New York bullpen, as good as they've been.
Wilson has faced him before once, 0 for 1.
And the importance of this at bat, even with the Braves leading 5-0, you give Wilson a chance to get acclimated to Shea Stadium. Yes, he's played here before, but you figure with Oliver Perez pitching tomorrow afternoon, Wilson's going to get the start over at first base.
That's a good point. He'll be ready to go tomorrow, but he's also got this opportunity with those 3 guys on base to blow this wide open. That was a good cut at that pitch.
Craig hitting a .160. But in the driver's seat, 3 balls and a strike. First batter faced out of that bullpen is the big stat.
And Craig's a good fastball hitter. This guy's got to throw, Burgos got to throw a fastball basically right down the middle to avoid walking in another run. That's a great stat for their bullpen. Stranding runners.
Another walk and another run is in. Give Wilson a pinch RBI. Brancourt to second. Andrew Jones to third. Chipper Jones scores. These 2 runs belong to Feliciano.
Left fielder Ryan Langerhans.
Now, if you want to really make it a nice inning, let's see if Langerhans can get a hit. Hit the ball hard somewhere, split a gap, give him some confidence. 6-0 Atlanta.
A liner right back through the middle.
Took a pitch. Good eye. 1 ball, no strikes.
That's something that's rare for Ryan during the stretches. Seems like he's always behind in the count.
He's the 8th man to hit in the frame. Again, the Braves doing damage with 2 out. That one all the way to the backstop is going to score another run, and everybody will move up 90 feet. So Burgos with some kerosene on the conflagration here. It's 7-zip.
On the what?
Fire.
No.
Georgia grad, pal.
No, I see. Andrew's getting pretty good at scoring on these wild pitches. Second time he's crossed because of it. Peterson's going to go out and try to calm down Burgos, who's only thrown 1 strike since he came in.
And that sends many of the Mets faithful heading for the 7 train. 7's the lucky number for the Braves so far tonight. 7-0 in the 7.
Yeah, even Mr. Met. Well, he's still there behind the Mets dugout, but he got up like he was going to leave with a tear on his cheek. Big old baseball cheek.
It's very sad to see a mascot cry in a big league ball game.
Got a smile on his face, but it's a fake smile.
Maybe that's Brancourt's cell phone.
It's an antenna head anyway. Gets great reception.
3-0 to Langerhans.
A lot of green light to swing. He's happy that that was a strike. He wants to swing the bat and get out of this.
Another walk. 4 walks in the inning, 3 in a row. And Langerhans' first RBI. If you'd asked him in the spring if his first RBI would, or not an RBI, I beg your pardon, bases are loaded, if his first RBI would come with a bases loaded walk, he'd say nuts, no chance. But I think that's a confidence builder for him to not get out, get on.
Contribute a little bit. Fans, Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball. Together we create a positive place for kids.
Yeah, Burgos just can't throw a strike right now. Braves batting around here in the 7th. Hudson the 9th to hit.
And it may be 7-0, but John Smoltz has been very chatty in the dugout.
Has he?
We'll have some more inside tracks with John.
Hudson pops it up. Who wants this? LaDuca. Very profitable inning for the Braves. 3 more come across, and Hudson a 7-run lead at the stretch.
That's right.
Remember the Orezone?
Okay, hey, I'm Mike, so what do you want to talk about?
And Pete's really weird.
Oh, that was worth it right there.
Wow, nearly an international incident with regards to our Sonic Inside tracks. The nation of Canada, led by Pete Ward, declared war on wherever Craig Wilson's from.
He's a California guy.
There you go. That explains it, right?
Yeah, but he was waiting for his opportunity to get even, and he just got it.
And Craig into the game defensively at first base as the Mets are up in their half of the 7th inning with Wright, Alou, and Green. A 7-run Atlanta lead. And it gets a little interesting for David Wright, who carries a 26-game hit streak into this 7th inning. He does not have a hit yet. He's 0 for 2.
And as a hitter, you start thinking at this point about trying to extend the streak and how many at-bats am I going to get? Ideally for Tim Hudson, if he mows him down 3 up and 3 down the last 3 innings, Wright wouldn't come up again. But David Wright's thinking, I'll get this at-bat. If we just get one more guy on base somewhere along the way, I'll get another at-bat, perhaps in the 9th.
One ball, no strikes from Tim Hudson.
Just a super effort by Tim against a team that I'm sure Freddie Gonzalez and the Marlins are looking at the scoreboard wondering if it's a mistake on the board, and there should be a 1 in front of the 0 for the Mets.
Just 82 pitches for Hudson in this game. And only 2 hits. Wind picking up a little bit, blowing out toward left where the Braves bullpen is.
Chased a bad ball there. A little over anxious was right on that pitch, and Tim got him to chase it.
And the other note about Hudson's game to this point, just 5 pitched balls have been out of the infield. That one won't get there either. Renteria. 1 man down. Braves are romping in Gotham. And Mark Fine standing by in our Atlanta studio.
Well, we got another romp to tell you about, Chip. How about Oakland in Texas? And Travis Buck, the rookie, said he had an affinity for hitting doubles in spring training. This is a bases clearing, bases loaded double. And then he takes Bruce Chen deep. Both of these hits off Chen. 10-0 Oakland. They're just in the 4th, guys.
Oakland leads the AL West. And like the East, that figures to be a 4-team race before it's all said and done. All 4 of those teams really evenly matched.
Oh, that Angels team, though, really having trouble scoring runs. Their offense has been missing in action.
They've dropped 6 in a row and are 1-7 away from Anaheim. That's a big concern for them.
Got clobbered in Boston. Swept up there.
Don't know, but wonder if the residual effect of all the bad weather they had to play through or wait around in had any effect on them. Sure, it didn't help. No excuses now.
No, they're home now.
Moises Alou broke up the no-hitter for Hudson with 1 out in inning number 5. Tim retired the first. 11 men he faced. Beltran walked in the 4th inning with 2 outs. Delgado popped up at foul ground to end that inning. Gave up a couple of hits in the 5th, and he'll give up 1 here to Alou. Langerhans plays it well and holds Moises to a long single.
What a play. Brian Langerhans made a terrific play in Washington the other night when things were getting a little dicey. Made a good running catch near the line. He's not letting his lack of offense bother his defense. I mean, this is a double anywhere. That's near the line, and Ryan played it perfectly, uncorked a strong throw, and that enough kept aloof, trying for two, with the Mets down by 7.
Third New York hit. Here's Sean Green, who singled last time up. He has 7 hits in his last 19 at-bats. I think he has a chance to have a big year only because he's not going to be expected to be the main man offensively. All he has to do is get on.
He ought to drive in a lot of runs just with the 2 or 3 people in front of him and the way they hit. Not like a second cleanup guy.
Good stop, Brian McCann, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
The long inning while the Braves were batting in the top half of the 7th with all those walks. And while Tim welcomed the runs, it is a chilly night. He may have stiffened up just a little bit. Braves bullpen beginning to stir some. Weather's supposed to be good in each of the next 2 day games, somewhere around 70 degrees or a little more. But it's cool tonight.
You know, it'll be balmy down in Florida, too. And hopefully no moisture. That was pumped right through there for a strike. 2-1 your count. Speaking of Florida, they're losing again tonight. Washington's beating them in the 8th inning, 5-2 Nationals. Their pitching's been pretty good last 10 days. Double play ball. Perfect hop. And Kelly Johnson the easy turn. That will end the New York 7th. Sharply hit, but 6-4-3, and out we go to inning number 8 at Shea Stadium. CBS Extra presented by Sonic. Back to our Sonic inside tracks. John Smoltz has been chirping away on that Braves bench.
Where is he now? Peter Orr, 10, 12 years, 15 years from now. What about, would you ever think about maybe when you're financially set, just driving the Zamboni during hockey games? Did you ever drive a Zamboni yet? I think that'd be pretty cool. I could pull a Forrest Gump and just cut high school fields all day.
He's already Forrest Gump. What is he talking about?
Run, Johnny, run!
He's got a tractor with a brush hog on it, or something like that, out of his place. Said he loved getting on it, just mowing the grass.
Scott Schoenweiss, the veteran left-hander, on to pitch to Kelly Johnson, who starts off the Braves' 8th inning. Schoenweiss, another unscored upon arm in that Mets bullpen. And here's a look at Kelly Johnson's half a scorecard. Singled, scored in the 1st ahead of a chipper homer. Walked in the 4th. He's bounced out, struck out his other 2 appearances tonight.
But on base 2 more times.
That's what you look at out of your leadoff man. How many runs you score, how many times you get on. Kelly, 12 runs scored in the first 16 games, including tonight. Kelly's on base percentage over 400 with his 2 trips to first base and beyond tonight. Just broke his game bat.
Hit that one right off the end. I think he has a cupped end on that, so if you hit one right off the end, it's going to splinter it.
So he'll go to work with pine tar. As you see, the Marlins closing to within a run against Washington, 5-4. More trouble for Scott Olson when the Braves roughed up in Atlanta in his last start for the Marlins.
And Brett Myers throwing a shutout tonight for Philadelphia.
He's in the bullpen now. It was John Lieber that was supposed to start, as Johnson has a base hit leading off the 8th inning against a lefty.
And with a new bat. That bat's got lots of hits.
There you go. Yeah, the Phillies sent Myers to the bullpen to try to shore up their middle relief Lieber started, and they lead 1-0 over the Reds in the 9th inning. Cincinnati 1 hit in that game.
Well, I'm looking at the number on the scoreboard. It looks like Myers' number. Maybe he's in relief.
Let's see. I'll check for you here. Renteria has doubled and scored in the game tonight. Myers is in, pitched an inning in relief. Lieber started, then Geary, Smith, Alfonseca, and now Myers, and then ostensibly Flash Gordon to close it out in Cincy.
I know Myers had a 9+ ERA, but that's a bold move to move your opening day starter to the bullpen already.
Well, you remember they said Myers volunteered to go into the closer role if Flash Gordon couldn't pitch. They now have Lieber back. They're going to get Garcia back if he's not back already. So the starters really aren't the problem. It's getting the ball. Yeah, Garcia is back. The problem is getting the ball from the starter to Gordon. And some in Philadelphia have said it's a move that reeks of desperation, and you can understand why if that's true. The Phillies are 4-10.
Right.
But the real problem for them has not been their pitching, although it's not where they want it to be. It's the fact that Howard and Utley haven't hit.
And you don't, I mean, it's still early, you know, the old adage, but with the way the Mets and Braves are playing right now, you don't want to fall too far behind.
And while the Braves and Mets are playing each other, someone's going to lose ground in the standings. You want to be a team that wins when you're playing outside your division. Popped up right side. Delgado in foul ground. Near the stands. He reaches up and nearly runs over Valentin. Edgar pops out.
I don't know if Valentin is going to call him off here or not. Doesn't look like it. Carlos had it all the way, and now Valentin's just got to figure out a way not to get stepped on.
Big night for Chipper Jones back at Shea Stadium. He missed coming here last April and playing. He's made up for it in Game 1 of the weekend series. First inning, first pitch. See ya.
Got the night started right for the Braves and Tim Hudson. He has scored 3 runs. He's driven in 2.
That one to right, but playable for Sean Green. There's your second out. And Andrew Jones coming up. Other scores in the National League. Andrew Jones. 5-4, Washington clinging to that lead down in Florida. That game in the 8th. Brewers lead the Astros 2-1 in the 5th. Padres 3-0 over Colorado at Coors. Adrian Gonzalez is homered for San Diego. Arizona and the Giants get underway in about 45 minutes. Pirates and Dodgers at 10:40 Eastern. Cubs lose at home to the Cardinals 2-1 in a crazy game in Chicago. Braden Looper, the winner, he's 3-1 as a Cardinal starter.
Andrew's been on base 3 times tonight, which is a good sign for him. He has a ground rule double to boot. Just missed a home run in the first when he launched one. He's had some good at-bats tonight.
Gives ground on a 2-strike pitch that followed him deep into that right-hand batter's box, but it's 1-2.
Nowhere near where LaDuca wanted that. It was supposed to be up and in a little bit. It was way high and away.
Tim Hudson, the man of the night. He has thrown a beauty. Letter high strike, and Andrew knew it. Braves get a leadoff hit from Kelly Johnson, leave him stranded. And in the last of the 8th, it's getting late for New York.
Could you?
What?
This stain on your shirt.
Honey, I swear that's just lipstick from my secretary.
Oh, please. You've been been dipping.
No, I swear I have been seeing Jessica.
Oh, you're lying. It's dipping sauce.
No!
Admit it, you love Jack's new sandwich trio. Stuffed jalapenos, mozzarella cheese sticks, new spicy chicken bites, and home so good dipping sauces.
Who is this?
This is Jessica.
Cheering. Enemy of engines.
What a night for the Braves. Tim Hudson into the 8th inning with a 3-hit shutout and a 7-0 Atlanta lead. We talked earlier tonight about the economy with which Tim has been working. This is his 96th pitch, and Valentin puts a charge into it. Deep left field. Langer hands at the wall, hauls it in. Ball does not carry as well here at night as it will tomorrow and Sunday. And now Andy Chavez will hit for the pitcher.
Braves were 7-11 last year against the Mets and played pretty decent here. They were actually 4-5 in this ballpark and trying to get off to a good start in 07 with a win tonight.
So Chavez comes up. Nothing in one.
This guy made what I think is the best postseason catch in history last year.
I mean, last time we saw them, I think you went out and said this might be the greatest catch in postseason history.
I did. In fact, I just said that. It was great timing. The situation in the game was such that robs a home run from Roland to save a tie game. And that includes Willie Mays' over-the-shoulder catch. Yes, it does.
And of course, we are your exclusive home of the Division Series and the NLCS here on TBS this October. And in the theme of repeating what each other says, we are your exclusive home.
Major League Baseball playoffs. Yes, we are.
Because I don't have my TBS jacket. I'm sorry. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's getting cold here.
I hope you don't catch cold without it.
Hojo's lost a step or two, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I used to get that one. Pretty solid switch hitter, wasn't he? Won an MVP, didn't he? The MVP one year for the Mets?
I know growing up in St. Louis, he used to torture the Cardinals. Remember that. Two-two. Line, base hit, Chavez. That's the 4th hit for New York. And while the Braves are romping at Shea Stadium, Mark Fine has more news in our Atlanta studio.
All right, Chip, Philadelphia and the Reds. Phillies had a combined 1-hitter going with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and Tom Gordon gives up the homer to Scott Hatteberg. Ties the game 1-1, bottom of the 9th, guys.
Wow. Mercy. Let's just keep on coming for the Phillies. Ojo did not win an MVP because the Mets have never had an MVP. But he had 38 homers, drove in 117 runs in 91.
Reyes the other way. Renteria, tough play, and not in time. The speed of Chavez beats the rapid second. Edgar did everything he could. Made a terrific stab, perfect throw, but Chavez beat him to the punch.
Good stretch by Kelly Johnson, too. Speed too much to overcome a good play. Great play and a good call on second base. Paul Emmel.
So 2 are on, 1 is out. Here's LaDuca. Again, LaDuca tonight back in the lineup after a bone bruise sidelined him for a game on that right index finger. It's heavily taped. Mets thinking about a late rally against Hudson. The Braves pen is stirring as Hudson right around 100 pitches. Soriano is up and throwing for the Braves.
Interesting to see if LaDuca plays tomorrow. Renteria and Emmel having a discussion. I wonder what this is about. Something that Edgar sees maybe behind the plate that's distracting him. Emmel's coming all the way in to ask Willie Randolph about something, that either a laser light or something. And they know exactly who it is.
What, me? No, not me. It's him. No, not him. Him.
Well, the umpires know. And I'm going to guess it was some sort of pocket laser light that he was shining out toward the Braves infielders, or even perhaps Hudson. But the keen eye of Edgar Renteria spotted it.
So that fan will be escorted away. And now LaDuca down a strike. He does not run well. Double play ends the inning. That's how to play foul. And falls quickly down, 0-2.
But he's hurting. I mean, it's obvious. And he can't get around on the ball. He's topped a couple of grounders to Chipper tonight. Hit a weak fly ball to center. He's already taken a ball off that right hand after Andrew was hit by a pitch.
And it ricocheted off the umpire and hit him behind his back. He was doing everything right fundamentally, and he still got hurt. Hudson leaps and spears. Renteria across the bag, 1-2. What a play by Hudson. The Braves turn their second double play of the night. He's through 8 with a shutout here in New York. Wow.
Hey, boss.
They got home court. Well, since the Maple Leafs aren't in, I think it'd be a great thing for the city of Toronto. You know, being a close neighbor that I am in Detroit, I root for them.
And speaking of the NBA playoffs, they return to TNT Sunday. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern Time with Game 1. Washington at Cleveland, and then later Sunday night it's NBA playoff preview show starting at 6 o'clock, followed by a Western Conference doubleheader. Game 1, Denver at San Antonio, and then Golden State at Dallas after that game. That's the NBA playoffs and TNT this Sunday.
Nice job with that card. I had a little trouble last night at home. Yeah, well, I had Seattle in the playoffs, and I had a doubleheader without the first game. I was just not a bad read on my part. So
what's the time of the year that Ernie Johnson Jr. just pitches a cot there on the studio?
Good play, Delgado, and he'll hit Joe Smith, who covers the bag at first. And there's your first out here in inning number 9. No ordinary Joe is he. He's thrown very well for this Mets bullpen so far this year.
The right fielder, Jeff Francoeur.
He's the least known of the guys, but he's got a good arm, and they like him. He might be kind of the guy that's used in games like this right now, but I think he'll work his way up to a very important role, maybe right behind Aaron Heilman as a setup guy.
And to the casual fan, these don't look like important innings. They're gobbled up by Burgos and Schoenweiss and Smith, but they are. Allows him to save Billy Wagner, allows him to keep Heilman and Seeley out of the game.
Their bullpen is well rested. Their starters have been working 7 innings or more during these high-scoring games they've put together. So they're in good shape coming into this series and probably needed the work.
Oliver Perez and Chuck James go tomorrow, and without putting this one in the win column yet for Atlanta, Perez is a guy that has just been poison for the Atlanta offense in his young career. And in his start against Atlanta, Perez looked like he was on his way to winning 20 games.
Yeah.
Last time out, he was walking everybody and couldn't get out of the 4th inning for New York.
He also got a lot of runs to work with. That first game against Atlanta.
So which Oliver Perez will show up, we'll find out at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Francoeur sends that ball deep right field. That one's going to bounce over the head of Sean Green, and Jeff in at second with a 1-out double. Love to see him hit the ball the other way.
Well, he got moved back on the pitch before, almost hit him, and maybe he took a little exception to that pitch. And then he was ready for something away, and it was up. But see how his body was tilted over the plate? He wasn't pulling away from the home plate area. He was driving down and through the ball, and that's such a difference for Jeff. Here's the location of the pitch. But see how Jeff's body is angled in toward home plate to follow that track.
So he's aboard for Craig Wilson, who drew a bases-loaded walk in a pinch hit appearance back in the 3-run 7th inning for the Braves. Braves got 2 in the first, 2 in the third, 3 in the 7th inning. They've wrapped 9 hits tonight. New York with 5 hits. They've committed the game's only error. And a dribbler back to the mound. Only one play for the pitcher. He makes it. 2 men are out. 7-0 in New York. And Mark Fine again joins us in Atlanta.
Well, Chip, you alluded to the Marlins issues a little earlier tonight, and Cody Ross trying to do something about that. Down by a run in the 9th, pinch hit home run to tie it. It's 5 apiece, 5 of the night.
Chad Cordero.
And as many games as the Nationals figure to lose, the opportunities that they have to win are going to be especially painful if Cordero has his struggles in the 9th inning.
No, they can't afford that any more than they can afford injuries to any of their pitchers they have right now.
So again, Ryan Langerhans is up. Ryan tonight 0 for 3 with a walk. That one pops away from LaDuca. That'll be a pass ball. And I'm with you. I don't think he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow.
Ramon Castro has been playing well, backing him up. Drove in a couple of runs yesterday against Florida.
And Castro hits the Braves hard,
yeah,
too.
It does. It is a pass ball.
Good eye, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Closing in on 10 o'clock in New York. See Peter Orwood back for Hudson next. Braves are pitching a shutout.
All right, good pitch to hit here for Langerhans. Stay back. 0-1 right here on the sweet spot. Nothing hurt. Looking for something away, and it kind of came in on him. Won't take much to get him going, just a solid single somewhere.
Did he go? Oh, they say he went. Down on strikes is Langerhans on a check swing. That's a 7-0 9th inning score. Punch out of Langerhans.
This hot fudge shake combined with the Oreos is the #3 top invention in all of history.
What are the first 2?
Well, #1 is the doorbell, and #2 is still open. I mean, it's anybody's game.
It's not like the radio or the telephone like that.
Not that I know of. But this thing's cool. What's this?
It's a visor.
All right, #2.
Hot fudge shake made with Oreo cookies. New at Sonic. A favorite childhood cookie blended with hot fudge into a cool, creamy treat. Pay the Sonic way. Swipe your credit or My Sonic card from your car.
Oh, hey!
it's a trimmer. Well, it's also a blower. You just flip this. Boom, just like that. Yeah, I just got it at the Home Depot. Too bad you have one, too.
The new Cub Cadet Trimmer Blower Combo from the Home Depot makes yard work a snap. One quick switch and you're in business. We're making Saturday mornings a little easier.
The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
There you go. Good job. Good job. Keep up. Keep up. Flying fish. There you go.
Got an MLB mindset? You'll need it. The #1 baseball game is back. MLB 07, The Show. Rated E for everyone. Available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable.
Hey, what's wrong?
Joe's athlete's foot. He takes me off, puts me on, takes me off, smearing on those creams over and over.
Ah, show him the new stuff. It's new Lamisil Gel Advanced.
It's blue?
Yes. Its revolutionary cooling gel penetrates faster, and it gets rid of athlete's foot with half the treatments of the other stuff. It's the most advanced medicine out there.
Half the treatments? Never heard of that before.
That's because it's new, laddie. New Lamisil Gel Advanced. Half the treatments, all the cure.
Fans, don't miss the next Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic. Will be coming your way Friday, May 4th from Turner Field when the Braves host the Los Angeles Dodgers for the first game of a 3-game series. The coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern Time. That's Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic Friday, May 4th on TBS. And we got another glittering matchup for you Sunday when we're back with you at 1 o'clock. John Smoltz against Tom Glavine here at Shea Stadium in the final game of this series.
Dale Scott just got rocked as Soriano's into the game to close it out. It's not a save situation. And he'll face Beltran Delgado and right for New York. That foul ball hit him right in the mask.
Rafael probably needed a little work. He's only worked once in the last 9 days. Braves are hoping they can have Mike Gonzalez ready to go by Sunday if needed. They're hoping they won't need him.
Again, Mike took a precautionary MRI. Wanted it for his own peace of mind back in Atlanta. That MRI result was perfect. No problems, no tears, and for Mike, peace of mind. But the Braves obviously will rest that elbow and give him a couple of days off. As Joe mentioned, hopefully he'll pitch sooner rather than later on this long Atlanta road trip. This is the first stop for the Braves. We'll head down to Florida Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then play in Denver next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And yank foul.
By the way, other news relative to the Braves, Willie Ibar, who's been suspended indefinitely by Atlanta, was reportedly meeting with the Major League Baseball Players Association today and the Employee Assistance Program to discuss what his next move would be.
There were some substance abuse issues involved with his absence. And indeed, if that is the case, and we have not had that confirmed, if that's the case, everybody hopes Willie will find a solution to his problems as Andrew falls down and Beltran's thinking about circling the bag. He's on his way to third, and Sandy Alomar is going to hold him up. Andrew was lining that up for the dive, and he just slipped and fell. I think he's saying he caught his foot in the turf.
I think he stubbed his toe a little bit too and went down a lot faster than he wanted to. His legs just went out from under him. Got his upper body out over his feet too far. And this was a smart move by Sandy Alomar. I think Beltran could have scored, but there might have been a play at the plate that might have caused him to have to slide. It's 7-0. His run means nothing. Why risk injury to one of your best players?
So it scored a triple. Here's Delgado. Carlos continues to really struggle at the plate. 0 for 3 again tonight. And hitting .210. And Soriano pitching with a little angry with that fastball.
I doing upstairs. 94. Hudson really did a great job holding these guys down.
Yeah, this is a Met lineup that averages 11 hits a game, 6 runs a game. He shut them out through 8 and lowered his earned run average in the process to 0.62.
And it bears repeating, 28 runs, 45 hits over the last 3 games. And they were on a roll coming into this.
And so going back to our open, the question, does excellent pitching get out excellent hitting? Tonight the answer, at least to this point, has been yes. And while the Mets feel very, very confident with this juggernaut offense and a pitching staff that in the second half of the year would appear to probably be even more formidable than it's been right now, which, by the way, leads the National League, the Braves go back to their formula for success starting in 1991. Dominant pitching. Pitching, pitching, pitching. Delgado might have broken his bat. And did. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And the reason it was broken was that it was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that ran in on his hands.
Reds beat the Phillies 2-1. The beat goes on for Charlie Manuel. I hope that he's not going to be made the fall guy for what's going on up there, but as we said earlier, when you don't score, you don't win. And Utley not hitting. Howard not in the lineup. And the Phillies, with that loss tonight, 4-11.
Good a Bunkett. Not Jimmy Rollins.
Towering fly ball to right. That should be deep enough to score Beltran. Francoeur ready to load up. There's the catch. And it's not going to be deep enough. Look at that throw. Wow. And again, Sandy Alomar probably telling Beltran, be very careful in a 7-run game.
Third base center.
And Francoeur gets a 5 from Andrew, which basically is saying thank you for not letting that run score there.
Well, here's the at-bat that many in the crowd have stuck around to see. David Wright's hitting streak is on the line right here. It's 26 games. He's 0 for 3 with 2 groundouts to the shortstop.
Well, if he gets one here, he's going to earn it against a guy throws in the mid-90s. Not going to be off some guy thumbing some breaking balls up there.
And he's facing Soriano for the very first time with that long hit streak on the line. One ball, 1 strike.
Pretty good slider he broke off to him there. But you can't look with the slider from this guy. Not as hard as he throws. Great pickup for Atlanta.
A power arm who can end scoring threats with a strikeout. But if there is a concern about the Braves bullpen to this point, they do put on a lot of runners. And now, Wright with a 3-1 count. If he walks, the streak ends, but the inning will continue. So ball 4, nothing really close for Wright to offer. He played the game right, took the base, and now Lou comes up with 2 on and 1 out.
Left fielder,
This will be a good contest. I love watching hard throwers matched up with good fastball hitters.
He's just an amazing hitter, Moises Alou.
Well, even at age 40, you can see he's still very strong in his hands and forearms. You mentioned last time we saw him that he never wears batting gloves, no matter how cold it is. Down off the end of the bat a little.
Remember, he played a bunch of years in Chicago at Wrigley Field. April, May, raw, freezing temperatures. Almost never. Most awkward, unorthodox batting stance. Last two fingers actually off the bottom of the barrel of the bat, which makes his wrists come into play more. And that one dribbled towards short. There's one. And Kelly Johnson airmails the throw into the seats. That'll score Beltran to break up the shutout. Hard slide by David Wright. I don't know if they would have turned two anyway, as it was a slow roller hit towards short.
No, but give him credit for trying, and then give Wright credit for doing his job, which was to knock him off balance. Wright runs pretty well. This was slowly hit. Got a good feed. You know what? I think that ball just came out of Kelly's hand funny. I thought he got knocked over as he was throwing, but the ball was already coming out of his hand, and he just didn't have a good grip on it.
So they will give Alou a RBI on the force play. He takes second on the throwing error. The ball went into the seats. So it's a 7-1 game. And Sean Green looks outside at the ball.
Funny way to get your first error. Get your Kelly Johnson.
But hey, 15 games or so into the season, that's your first for a guy who's never played second base in the big leagues. Braves will take that.
Yeah.
10 error a year out of second. He plays every day. Nothing wrong with that. Ball and a strike to Green. Florida and the Nats continue to battle on. 5-5. Marlins up in the 10th inning now at Dolphin Stadium. Yankees lead the Red Sox 6-4 in the 8th. A-Rod, 2 more homers tonight. And there's a shot drilled right field by Green. 7-3 game. You're seeing the explosive nature of the Mets offense, and you're seeing the importance of scoring early and continuing to add on.
First home run of the year allowed by the Atlanta bullpen, and the first home run allowed by an Atlanta pitcher that wasn't a solo homer.
The second baseman, Jose Valentin.
Fastball, he turned on the 95-mile-an-hour heat. No doubt about it.
So 2 outs. The Mets close to within 7-3. And they've got to start a rally all over now as Valentin digs in. He, too, hitless tonight.
And that forces Bob Wickman to have to start playing catch in the Atlanta bullpen.
Joe mentioned Soriano hasn't pitched but once in the last week or so. So, on a cold night, match up with an arch rival. A little bit of rust can be expected. And the fans here thrilled as that ball crushed by Valentin to right, but out of play. They're looking at the scoreboard here because the Red Sox have just tied the Yankees 6-6.
Yeah, they got the typical Yankee chant going on in Shea.
And they did it off Mariano Rivera.
Wow. He's been scuffling a little bit. Couldn't put away the Oakland A's a few days ago.
1-2. Another high fly ball right field. Will the park hold this one? Rancourt on the warning track, and the Braves win it. Braves take care of the Mets 7-3 as Rafael Soriano had a little bit of an adventurous ninth inning, but it was all Tim Hudson tonight as he goes 8 shutout innings. Chipper homered early, and that was more than enough for the Braves to reclaim first in the National League East. Back to recap it right after this from Shea.
It's a driver's car. Rich in the latest technology, the perfectly proportioned cabin offers abundant comfort and space. Super handling all-wheel drive gives you ownership of the road. And the ever-smooth turbocharged iVTEC engine, it's a rush. The RDX from Acura. Are you ready?
Take advantage of attractive financing on select Acura models for well-qualified customers. code green. I think I've lost him.
Hey, haven't I seen you before?
You sure have. Look out!
Whoa! My car! It's too late to report my claim now.
Don't you have Esurance?
I do.
At Esurance, you can report your claim 24/7, online or on the phone. Always fast and friendly. You'll be back on the road in no time. Duty calls. If you're on the road, you've got to have Esurance.
Save on 24/7 claim service at Esurance.com.
Braves TBS Extra, brought to you by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. By the Home Depot, with the guaranteed low price and the know-how to make every dollar work harder. You can do it, we can help. By PlayStation 3, Play Beyond. And by Lamisil Gel Advance.
Mark Fine back in our Atlanta studios. It's never boring with the Red Sox and the Yankees. 6-4, bottom of the eighth. Mariano Rivera on early, trying to close things out, but with two guys on. Coco Crisp with the triple. Both runs come in to score. We've got ourselves a tie game. Well, of course, the Yankees are going to leave Rivera in, right? Alex Cora, the next batter. Cora facing Mariano Rivera. And he would drive in the go-ahead run. Oh, by the way, A-Rod, as we've been telling you all night, 2 home runs, fastest to 12 home runs, or 12 home runs in 15 games. That's a major league record. And 14 of 15 games, the guy's got an extra base hit. Unbelievable. Game's still not over. Ours is, though. Let's get you back to New York.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Welcome back to Shea Stadium. You've been watching Braves TBS Extra presented by Sonic. All Braves tonight, but the Mets fans weren't totally unhappy. They got to scream the Yankees stink as they see the Red Sox come back and take a lead.
Yeah, but some early damage by Chipper Jones set the tone. A 2-run homer in the first. The Braves go on and coast to their 3rd win of the year over the Mets. Braves had 9 hits, left 10. The Mets 7 hits, they left 6. Hudson 3-0 for the first time since 2002. And what a good start for him this year. 29 innings pitched, only 2 runs allowed. Total is ERA 0.62. Braves beat the kid, Mike Pelfrey, and his first major league decision.
And the Braves back in first, which is always good to talk about as well. And they are 3-1 against these New Yorkers on the young season in 2007. Another game tomorrow. That'll be with John Shambi and Joe Simpson. He and I.
Hot soup, $4. Cold medicine, $11. Blanket, $24.
All right, thank you, Ernie. It is a beautiful 73-degree day in the Motor City, and this is the 179th consecutive sellout at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Better than 22,000 turning out Game 2 of the best of 7. A matchup of the number 1 seed and the number 8 seed. It's the Detroit Pistons facing the Orlando Magic, with the Pistons taking Game 1 on Saturday night. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert. This is Steve Kerr. We'll be joined in a moment by our sideline reporter, Stephanie Reddy. Both clubs are ready to go, so let's check out the McDonald's starting lineups. First, for Orlando, their centerpiece and starting center, 21-year-old Dwight Howard, who had 19 rebounds in Game 1, but a rough night at the foul line, going 3 for 11. Howard up front with Hito Turkoglu and Tony Battie at the guard, Jameer Nelson, and the one-time Piston All-Star, Grant Hill. For Detroit, Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups at the point. He had 22 and 11 assists in the series opener. Rip Hamilton also chipped in with 22. And on the front line, Chris Webber, who has been an excellent pickup for the Pistons. Webber up front with Tayshaun Prince and Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed getting off to the fast start in Game 1. A look at the officiating crew. Steve, they're in side place order. Greg Willard, N.F. Rush, and Tim Donahue. N.F. Rush not on the invite list of Shaquille O'Neal, coming off the game.